Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade of America, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. Every American knows something of the life and works of Thomas Alva Edison. He is properly called the complete genius. Before the dawn of the present century, he had established himself as an outstanding inventor of all time. To Mr. Edison, one invention was a challenge which led to others. As an example, take the incandescent lamp or electric bulb. After he had developed it, he went ahead with other developments: the dynamo, the method of wiring, the electric meter, and the junction box that made the whole system function as a commercial actuality. He invented the stock exchange ticker. Then he perfected a telegraph relay, which would accept 3,000 words per minute, a speed so fast that he had to develop both a paper and an ink which would operate at that rate. He was constantly at work, seeking to develop new ideas and improve upon old ones. He was inspired by the same creative urge that inspires research chemists, men who are striving to fulfill the DuPont edge. Better things for better living through chemistry. As an overture, Don Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra bring you a special musical setting of Irving Berlin's popular Crinoline Days from the Music Box Review. The DuPont Cavalcade moves forward. This evening, the DuPont Cavalcade does not seek to retell the facts you already know about Edison the inventor, but rather to relate several little-known episodes in the life of Edison the man. The material used is mostly new and unrecorded. Much of it has been gathered by personal interviews with people who worked with Mr. Edison. In 1898, Edison, 51 years old, was perfecting a process to reduce low-grade iron ore on a scale never before attempted. He had built a new type of ore reduction plant in the Ogden Mountains of New Jersey, not far from his manufacturing plant in West Orange. The ore reduction plant was in production and ready to begin operating at full capacity. One afternoon, the plant manager, Walter S. Mallory, bursts into Edison's private office in West Orange.
Mr. Edison? Mr. Edison?
Confound it, Mallory. You know I don't like to be interrupted.
Yeah, but this is important.
Well, what is it?
About the ore reduction plant.
Nothing's happened to it?
No, it's running all right, but have you much of your own money tied up in it?
Nearly everything I've got.
Well, I guess neither of us will get rich on it now.
Why not? What's wrong?
Well, I hate to tell you, but I can't put it off.
Well, spit it out, man. What is it?
News from the West. A huge deposit of high-grade iron ore has just been discovered.
Where?
In the Mesabi Range in Minnesota, lying right on the surface. Of course, it isn't as near the eastern smelters as our plant is. We can ship our product cheaper. Perhaps we can keep right on producing.
No, we couldn't meet their price. We're through.
What are we going to do?
Shut down at once.
But all our equipment, the giant rollers, the machinery.
We'll have to find some other way of using them. Something that needs crushing and milling. Something like, let me think. Yes, cement.
But we don't know anything about cement.
We will, Mallory. Get me every book you can find on it. I'll study the subject while you wind up the affairs of the ore reduction plant.
I don't see why you're so cheerful, sir.
Why shouldn't I be cheerful? I'm out of the manufacturing business and back to inventing again.
But I thought you had much of your money tied up in the ore reduction plant. Why, it must have cost nearly $3 million.
It did.
A fortune.
Yes, but Mallory,
Yes?
we had a lot of fun while it lasted. And there's still the cement business.
Edison was never discouraged. Obstacles that would have appalled an ordinary man only stimulated him to greater effort. His study of the Portland cement business convinced him that the method then used in the industry was inefficient and wasteful. Too much of the heat used in burning the lime went up the chimney. Edison announced that he would use a kiln nearly twice as long as the one in general use. Impossible, cried all the experts. But he set up an experimental plant and put Mallory in charge of it. The first results were very disappointing. One hot summer day, Mallory calls at Edison's office.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Edison?
Yes, I did. Look here, Mallory. Do you know anything about alkalis as electric agents?
I know. And what's that got to do with making Portland cement?
Nothing. I'm trying to make a storage battery.
With that junk you've got there?
That isn't junk. Experimental apparatus.
Looks like a lot of dirty tumblers to me.
They're full of my new alkali solution. They're the last tumblers I've got in the place. This is the last of a long series of experiments in a hunt for an iron derivative. Wait till I connect these metal poles with an electric current. There.
Well, nothing happened.
Yes, I realize that, Mallory, but I've learned something.
You've learned something.
Yes. I found 10,000 things that won't work. I've just discovered another one.
Look out!
Oh!
Oh, that's too bad, Mr. Edison. They all fell and broke. What'll you do now?
Well, I guess the next thing to do is to buy some more tumblers.
Pardon me, sir, but did you ask me to come here from the cement plant on a scorching hot day just to show me this?
No. I want you to see the report of the results you're getting in the cement plant.
Well, I've seen it. I made out the report myself. It's not bad, is it?
Not bad, it's rotten.
Well, just because your kiln is 2.5 times as long as the old kind, there's no reason to think you can get 5 times as much cement out
I
of it.
expect 5 times as much. Your report shows only 500 barrels a day.
500 a day now, and that's a miracle.
Nothing. Isn't even a decent start. That long kiln ought to put out 1,000 barrels a day.
Why, that's impossible.
If that's your attitude, no wonder you don't get results. You're licked before you start.
Now, look here, Mr. Edison. I've sweat and bled over that blasted kiln for weeks, and that's the best I can do.
Well, it isn't good enough.
And if you think there's 1,000 barrels of cement a day in that kiln, maybe you can get it out yourself. I can't.
We'll see about that. I'll answer. Hello? Yes? He's right here. See you, Mallory.
Oh, thanks. Hello? Yes? What? Oh, she is. I see. Yes. Yes. Goodbye.
What's the matter, Mallory?
My little girl, Charlotte. She's worse.
Well, what's wrong?
Necrosis has set in, and the kneecap she hurt. The doctor said this terrific heat is making it worse. Temperature in her room is 97. I'm afraid there's nothing we can do but pray heaven she lives through this heat wave.
We must end the heat wave.
The weather reports say there'll be several days of it.
Oh, hang the weather reports. You don't have to worry about the weather in the whole state of New Jersey. All we care about is the weather in your daughter's room.
Well, I guess that's my worry, sir. You have troubles enough of your own. Now, about that cement kiln, if you really think that...
No, never mind that. There's another invention. I've got to make right away.
Well, then, if you don't mind, Mr. Edison, I'd like to go home.
Of course. I'd like to go with you.
You're very kind, Mr. Edison, but I don't want to take you from important work, sir.
The important work I've got to do right now is something for your little girl.
I don't understand.
Come over here to the drawing board. Hey there, Professor.
Yes, Mr. Edison?
Ought to be clean paper on my drawing board.
Oh, I put some there an hour ago, sir. I can't imagine what's become of it.
I can. Become a cement plant.
Oh, I'll get some clean paper right away, sir.
Does it still amuse you to be your own draftsman, Mr. Edison?
What's amusement got to do with it? It saves time. Instead of telling a man, I'd rather show him my idea on paper. Anyway, it gives my hands something to do while I'm thinking. I never waste time making finished drawings. I just make sketches.
How do you find draftsmen who can translate them?
I don't find them, they find me.
Here's a paper, sir.
Good. Now file these sheets I've used under cement.
Under cement? Oh, yes, cement. In the file, you mean. Right away, sir.
Now, Mary, let's take a quick look at what's in my mind. We got to change the weather. In that room where your daughter Charlotte is, and let's see now. Yes. We ought to start like this.
Well,
Now, don't say anything. Just watch.
Edison completed his sketches on the drawing board. Then he sent Mallory to the carpenter shop with the drawings, and with special orders that all other work should be dropped until the machine he had sketched was finished. An hour later, Mallory and one of the carpenters loaded a strange-looking wooden box on an automobile and started for Mallory's house. Outside Charlotte's hot, stuffy room, Mrs. Mallory meets her husband.
Walter, won't you stop that noise? Charlotte is... she's... Oh, Walter, why didn't you come right away when I telephoned you?
Well, I couldn't, dear. You see, Mr. Edison...
Mr. Edison. Mr. Edison. He's always wanting you to do something.
Now, wait, dear. Mr. Edison has just made this for Charlotte and for us.
That big wooden box. But, Walter, we can't have that in Charlotte's room. Oh, and what's the use of it? She's thinking, Walter. The heat.
I know, dear. But just let us bring it in and install it.
Install it? What do you mean?
Open the door to Charlotte's room, dear. I'll show you. If it works.
If it works. Oh, Walter, our little girl is worse. She's thinking, and you want to experiment.
Yes, dear, but I think it will help. Now, if you'll just trust in me and open the door.
Very well.
Please, Mrs. Mallory, the room must be quiet.
But Mr. Mallory is here. It was an idea of Mr. Edison.
I don't know what the doctor would say, I'm sure.
Now, hold the door wide open, nurse, please. I think we can just get through with this box.
Pardon me, Mr. Mallory. I don't think the doctor would like you to bring that thing into the room.
It's all right, nurse. Now, stand aside while we carry the box over to the window, please.
Walter, do you have to do this?
Yes, dear, I do. I have a feeling that Mr. Edison has solved our problem.
Oh, but Walter, our problem is Charlotte.
I realize that, my dear. Put it down easy now, Simmons.
Yes, sir.
No noise, please.
Yes, Mr. Mallory.
There. Yeah, that's got it. Now, help me fix those wooden legs for the box.
Mr. Mallory, please. That big box just out the windowsill there, it shuts off the air from the windows there, what air there is.
Yes, nurse, that's what it's meant to do.
But, Mr. Mallory, that's the whole trouble. trying to let Charlotte have as much air as we can.
Yes, nurse. Now, if you'll just stand back, please. You got that other leg fixed yet, Simon?
Oh, wait now. Hold it. Hold it. Yes, there it is. The box is steady now, but I'll have to drive in a few nails to make sure the whole thing is firm.
Oh, you can't do that. Not in this room. The doctor said Charlotte must be protected from noise. Oh, Walter, don't let him do it, please.
My dear, you must let us go ahead with this thing. It may help Charlotte, and it's our only chance.
Please, Mr. Mallory, we can't have any noise in the room.
Simmons, go ahead with the nails. Don't make any more noise than's necessary.
I won't, sir.
Oh, Walter, why must we do this?
I just told you, my dear. We're trying an experiment. Mr. Edison thinks it will work, and I do, too.
There you are, sir.
All right, Simmons. Now let's get that cake of us.
Right.
Walter, are you mad?
No, dear. Will you please just trust in me?
Yes. Yes, of course I will.
All right, then. Wait until I fix this thing in. How's that, son? Is the box steady now?
Well, it's as steady as I can make it, Mr. Mallory, without making too much noise.
All right, then. Come and help me.
Yes, sir.
Mrs.
Now,
Mallory.
nurse, don't be alarmed. I know my husband is trying this experiment for Charlotte's good. It's one of Mr. Edison's ideas, you know.
Yes, Mrs. Mallory, I know. But I don't know what the doctor would say.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yes, I suppose so. But I won't be responsible.
Don't let it slip. Easy now, Simmons. All right, now. Lift it up. Up into the box.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't make any more noise than you can help when you put it down now. Look out for your fingers.
All right. All right, now, here we go.
Yeah. That's it. Now then, you wire up the electric fan while I close the other windows.
Oh, Mr. Mallory, please, don't close the other window, sir. Your daughter needs all the air she can get.
Yes, nurse, I know that. What I'm doing is for the best. There now. Now this one.
Mr. Mallory, pardon me, sir, but I must protest. I cannot allow you to leave those windows shut.
Don't worry, nurse. It's all a part of our experiment. Now, I'm just going to close this window a bit. It's opposite the one that box is sitting in. I'll leave it open about this much. There. Now, that's about right.
Oh, Walter, you can't do this. You're shutting out all the air.
Please, dear. Now, just a moment. How about it, Simmons? Fan running?
It will be, sir, when I turn it on.
All right.
There we are.
Wait now. Let's see what happens. I want to watch this thermometer.
Walter, is that cool air I feel?
Yes, I think it is. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Mr. Mallory, the room is cooler. There's a draft of cold air blowing in from the window. I can feel it.
And so can I. But I want to see if this thermometer will go down.
Wait. Why, she's rousing. Charlotte is stirring. I never expected she would.
But, Walter, I don't understand.
See, dear? The fan draws the air into the room, and the ice cools it. It's just a makeshift device, but at least it will keep the room cooler than outside. And that ought to help Charlotte get well.
Edison's crude air cooling device helped bring Mallory's daughter out of danger. But it was another matter to get her well again. She did not rally. Her convalescence was discouragingly slow. When Edison heard this, he paid Charlotte a visit. In the hall outside of her room, Edison and Mallory meet the doctor.
Well, Doctor, how's your patient today, Doctor?
About the same, Mr. Edison. I must say the delay in her recovery is disheartening.
Is there anything I can possibly do?
No, Mr. Mallory, I'm afraid not.
Don't you know of anything that would do her any good?
Oh, yes. A change of scene would do wonders for her. Just the kind of a tonic she needs. She's too weak. I don't dare risk moving.
Is there any medical tonic that will do the work?
I'm giving her what I can, but it isn't entirely a matter of medicines. It's a matter of cooperation from her own tired little body. She needs normal acceleration of the glands and impulses. A natural quickening of the nervous system that would come from the stimulus she'd get from new surroundings.
But you say can't be moved.
Yes, that unfortunately is our dilemma.
Well, there must be some way out.
Well, if there is, Mr. Edison, I'm sure you could find it.
Doctor, I've invented a slight improvement for my window box. You mind if I experiment with it?
Go right ahead, Mr. Edison. I believe Charlotte can bear the noise now.
I won't make any noise. My improvement is chemical, not physical, Doctor. We leave the physical improvement to Charlotte.
Very well. Will you excuse me? I have several other calls to make. Then I'll be back.
Well, of course, Doctor.
Bye, Doctor.
Oh, Mr. Edison, Charlotte will be glad to see you.
We could only get her happy and well again, Mallory. How's Mrs. Mallory bearing up?
Well, she's resting. We'll find a nurse in charge. If you don't mind, I'll go in first.
Go right ahead.
Is that you, Daddy?
Yes, Lottie, and I brought your best bow with me.
Is Mr. Edison here? Oh, I'm so glad.
Hello, Charlotte. Doctor tells me you ought to take a trip somewhere. Make you strong and well again.
Oh, I do wish so I could, but they won't let me.
Well, how'd you like to go on a trip with me? Just a little trip, sort of a picnic.
Oh, I'd love to.
Please don't excite her, Mr. Edison.
Nurse, the doctor said she needed some natural stimulation.
Yes, but not the depression that comes from disappointment.
The nurse is right, Mr. Edison.
Well, perhaps Charlotte won't be disappointed.
Yes, but there's a risk.
With more to gain than to lose. But if I haven't your permission, then of course I won't try my idea.
Oh, no. Go ahead if you think it's all right. I have perfect confidence in you, sir.
But, Mr. Mallory...
I'll take the responsibility, nurse. Mr. Edison has an improvement on his window air box he wants to try. Let me help Charlotte.
Very well. But if I see any bad effects from it on the patient, you'll have to stop at once.
Of course.
When do you think I could go on a picnic with you, Mr. Edison?
Don't you think the best thing about a picnic is the fun of knowing you're outdoors under the trees, with the cool air blowing over fields of fresh clover and flowers?
Yes. Oh, when can we go?
Why, I think we can go right now.
Now? Why, they won't let me leave this room, not even this bed.
We won't let that stop us from having fun. If we can't go out to the picnic, we'll bring the picnic in here.
But it won't be the same.
It'll be even better. You can have your choice where you'll picnic today. Where'll it be? Under some shade trees at the edge of a field with a brook? On a sandy beach down by the seashore? Or on the side of a mountain with a fine view and tall pine trees all around?
Oh, the mountains, with the wind going through the pines and making a sort of music.
All right, then. The mountains it is. Excuse me, Mallory. Let me at that window box.
Of course. Look, nurse. Look how her eyes are brightened.
Her pulse is quickened, too. You must be careful. A serious reaction might hurt her.
How can you bring the mountains in here, Mr. Edison? The trees I want are much too high for in here.
Well, we'll see what we can do, Charlotte.
Just pretend?
Well, a little more than that. Try now. Can you close your eyes and imagine big, tall pine trees?
Why, I can almost smell them.
That's funny. I could swear I smell them, too.
Now we'll get the fire started to cook supper with.
I smell something burning.
Of course you do, nurse. That's the fine, dry wood Charlotte and I have gathered for our picnic fire.
You make it all seem so real. I can smell the smoke and the old dead leaves and pine trees. I know I can. It's just exactly like it. Are you any good with a frying pan, Mr. Edison?
No. I always start experimenting with whatever's in it to spoil it.
I can cook. You'd better let me do it.
All right. Say, I smell the woods. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm a practical woman myself, but either I smell the woods, too, or else you're a spellbinder, Mr. Edison. Ought to be tried for witchcraft.
They used to call him the Wizard of Menlo Park.
There's no magic in this. It's just chemistry.
Well, all chemistry's magic to me.
Most of the smells in nature can be duplicated in a chemical laboratory.
But this isn't a laboratory.
I got several little bottles here. I brought them with me. Each has a picnic in it.
Oh, goody. More picnics.
Oh, I see, Mr. Edison. You just pour some fluid in front of the pan in the window box, and it fills the room with the same air you smell in the woods or the seashore or wherever you want to be.
Exactly.
Well, it's just like the real thing, except for the scenery.
And the ants.
Mr. Edison, what shall I do with this lime juice I've got to take?
We'll squeeze it over that fine fresh trout after you've cooked it.
That'll taste good.
Yes, at least the limes are real.
And so is the improvement in Charlotte.
Your experiment has been a great success, Mr. Edison.
You have a great mind, Mr. Edison.
But it isn't half as great as his heart, nurse. It wasn't his genius that did this. It was his love.
Aided by Mr. Edison's cooling contrivance and by his chemical picnics, Charlotte Mallory recovered from her illness. She grew up to be a fine young lady, one of the hundreds who knew Edison personally, who admired and respected and loved him. One of the greatest tributes to his memory is the Thomas Alva Edison Foundation, established to aid worthy students by those who knew and worked with him. The whole world has honored Edison for his inventive genius. This evening, we are proud to salute Thomas Alva Edison, the man, as DuPont adds his name to the Cavalcade of America.
Remember the old wheeze, everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it. Well, that's not true anymore. Modern chemistry has done a lot about weather. A chemist puts it this way.
When you think of air conditioning, you think of cool comfort, regardless of outside temperatures. Chemistry contributes the ingredient that makes things cool. It's called a refrigerant, and DuPont produces a number of types, including several widely used for cooling and ice making. You know how these products of chemistry serve you in air-conditioned movies, stores, and restaurants, but industry has put them to work in unusual places. For example,
far down in the Robinson Deep Gold Mine, South Africa, normal temperatures hover around 120 degrees, and the humidity makes this heat almost unbearable. But now the mine shaft has been air-conditioned, and the miners keep cool and comfortable 8,300 feet below the surface. The same is true in the Magma Copper Mine at Superior, Arizona, where air cooling plants are at work nearly 3/4 of a mile down. And on the Syrian Desert, a new streamlined bus of glittering stainless steel made in Philadelphia by the Budd Manufacturing Company flashes 65 miles an hour along the sandy 600-mile run from Baghdad to Damascus as brown-skinned natives stare in astonishment. Its 14 passengers ride and sleep in comfort, despite temperatures that may vary from 0 to 140 degrees above. For this new Desert Express is air-conditioned. A DuPont refrigerant is used. And underwater, in submarines, DuPont refrigerants are at work in equipment that actually manufactures air for the men who work under the sea. Ocean liners now offer air-conditioned comfort for their passengers, too, while many steamers bringing fruit from the tropics protect their cargoes en route with air cooling that provides even coolness in all parts of the ship's hold. Now, how about air conditioning for you and me this summer?
these chemical refrigerants keep you comfortable not only in movies, restaurants, stores, and hotels, but work for you almost everywhere. Today, all major trains in the United States are partly or completely air-conditioned, with railroads installing equipment at the rate of 1,500 cars a year. Industries are using it increasingly where control of temperature and humidity is essential. Now, lower-cost room units are available for home and office, while air conditioning probably serves humanity best of all in the operating rooms of hospitals.
Yes, it's certainly true that DuPont chemists, working with air conditioning engineers, help guard our health and comfort against summer's high temperatures and humidity. This work is one more illustration of how DuPont is making good its pledge. Better things for better living through chemistry. Songs of the American Indian, the music and customs of primitive America, will be the subject of our broadcast when next week at the same time, DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Jack Benny and Mary Livingston in 7 Keys to Baldpate.
Lux presents Hollywood. Tonight, the dauntless Jack Benny and the laconic Mary Livingston lead us into paths of peril and adventure. Laughs, chills, crooks, treasure, a damsel in distress, a mad hermit. This is only part of what Jack Benny encounters tonight in that grand comedy mystery by George M. Cohan, 7 Keys to Baldpate, adapted from the novel by Earl Durr Biggers. You'll hear also, as special guest, the world-renowned violinist Ephraim Zimbalist. Conducting our orchestra is Louis Silvers. Tonight's play is brought to you by the makers of Lux Flakes. Before I introduce our producer, let me remind you that it's thrifty to buy several big boxes of Lux Flakes at a time, so you'll always have it handy in bathroom and kitchen. Every box of Lux Flakes means longer life for your washable nice things, kind care for your hands. You're thrifty every time you use these gentler, finer flakes. And now, our producer. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille. Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Before we raise our curtain, we wish to advise our listeners that if any important news bulletins on the European situation are received at the Columbia Broadcasting System headquarters, they'll be given you at the intermission during our program. Now to our play and personalities. When George M. Cohan adapted 7 Keys to Baldpate for the stage, he had no intention of starring in it. But just before the opening, he and the leading man met with an accident. The leading man was too seriously injured to go on, so Mr. Cohan, broken collarbone and all, stepped into the breach. When I related these facts to Mary Livingston, she threw back her head bravely and declared that if Mr. Cohan could carry on with such a handicap, she could carry on with Jack Benny. Mr. Benny is not, however, without some talent. He often entertains the guests at his home with his debonair violin playing and witty sayings. He's quite a familiar figure on the streets of Beverly Hills, whizzing past the admiring spectators in his flashy Maxwell town car. And I almost forgot. Mary always brings Jack to her radio program. And when she goes back on the air next Sunday, she'll once again try and have a place for him. For tonight, we've made a special treatment of 7 Keys to Baldpate, which finds Mr. Benny tackling one of the most difficult roles in his career, the role of Jack Benny. And Miss Livingston comes to you in her own interpretation of Mary Livingston. There's another character in our adaptation called Cecil B. DeMille. 1,400 actors in Hollywood have refused my generous bribes to play the part. So there's nothing left for me to do but to play myself. This being the case, my customary duties for the evening will be assumed in part by the highly capable Melville Ruick. And now we light the stage. It's curtain time and start time as the Lux Radio Theater presents Jack Benny and Mary Livingston in 7 Keys to Baldpate with Cecil B. DeMille. Mr. Ruick, will you set our scene? On the lot of Paramount Studios in Hollywood, a building stands apart from the rest. On its door, the legend, Cecil B. DeMille Productions, Incorporated. The door has just opened, and C.B. himself strides quickly across the reception room toward his private office. A small army of assistants and secretaries hinder his progress with innumerable requests.
Good morning, Mr. DeMille.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Oh,
darling.
Mr. DeMille, I had that set
See
made
me
up
later,
now.
will you, Joe?
Hello, C.B. Here's that script you asked
Thanks,
for.
I'll read it tonight.
Mr. DeMille, would you see Mr. Nelson?
I can't see anyone this morning. Ask him to come
Mr.
back.
DeMille, there's a
Not
man
now,
out here.
Harry. Sorry. Or Bill, come into my office, will you?
Okay, C.B. Well, Mr. DeMille, about
All
that
right,
set.
all right.
I
I'll take
want
care
you
of
to see it. It's
everything.
very
See me
important,
later.
really.
Sit down, Bill. Morning, Miss Cole.
Good morning, Mr. DeMille.
Anything happen?
Nothing much. Mr. Henry called about that script. Frank Donnelly has a new star for you, and, oh, yes, Mr. Benny called again.
Who?
Mr. Benny. Jack Benny.
What did he want?
The usual thing.
What did you tell him?
The usual thing. I said you were out to lunch.
I'm beginning to feel a little guilty about Jack.
What's it all about, C.B.?
Well, I was a little tired one night, and I half promised I'd make a picture with him.
No.
Yes. And he calls me every once in a while to remind me of it.
Well, he isn't serious, is he?
And that's just the trouble. He gave me a long talk about how his soul is starved in comedy. He wants to branch out into drama, heavy acting parts.
Well, he must be crazy. What'd you tell him?
Well, I couldn't tell him the truth. It would have broken his heart, not to mention Paramount. So I just keep telling him I'm still looking for the right story, but it's becoming very embarrassing.
He seemed pretty discouraged this morning, Mr. DeMille. I really think you ought to call him. He said you could reach him at Mary Livingston's house.
Well, I'm not looking for trouble, but if he calls again, I suppose I'll have to speak to him.
Oh, Jack. 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 Hey, Yasha.
Yes, Mary.
Jack, why don't you give that cigar box a rest? You've been scratching on it for the last 2 hours.
In the first place, it's not a cigar box. In the second place, I wasn't scratching. That was music, whether you like it or not.
Thanks for the choice.
Oh, well. If that's the way you feel, I'll put it away.
Oh, Jack, I didn't mean it like that. Gee, you certainly are getting cranky lately. Come over here to say hello, and every time I open my mouth, it gets sore. What's the matter with you, anyway?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm in one of those moods again. I'm sorry, Mary. Gosh, why doesn't DeMille call?
Oh, so that's it. I knew there was a reason for that long jaw you're wearing.
I'm not wearing a long jaw.
You are, too.
Well, I saw it in Esquire. Gee, I've called DeMille about 20 times. I'll bet that secretary never gave him the message.
Jack, I hate to be a wet rag, but did you ever think that maybe Mr. DeMille doesn't want to speak to you?
Oh, don't be silly. What makes you say that?
Well, he certainly goes out to lunch at funny hours.
Well, that doesn't prove anything. He told me himself he wanted to make a picture with me, and he wasn't lying.
Yeah, I'll bet he looked you right square in the chest when he said it.
Oh, no, he didn't. Listen, Mary, Mr. DeMille knows how I feel about comedies. We're going to make a serious picture, something that'll give me a real chance. See, the only thing that's holding it up is the story, and we'll have one if I have to sit down and write it myself. I'll write something I can sink my teeth into. With my ideas, all I need is paper and pencil.
And teeth.
See, you don't give me credit for anything, do you?
Oh, Jack, why don't you come down to earth? You're a comedian. You made your name in comedy, and you ought to stick to it. This other stuff isn't for you.
What do you mean it isn't? I'm an actor, ain't I? Aren't I? First, lost, and always, I'm an actor. And here I am laying around wasting my talents because nobody will give me a chance. DeMille makes the Plainsman, and he uses Gary Cooper. Then he turns around and makes the Buccaneer and uses Frederick March. What they want with me at Paramount, I don't know.
If I were you, I wouldn't even ask.
That's so.
And I certainly wouldn't keep pestering Mr. DeMille all the time.
I'm not pestering him. He's just as anxious to do this as I am. I'll give him a ring right now. Hello? Give me Hollywood 06746, please. It's probably out, but I'll take a chance. Hello? Mr. DeMille's office? Well, this is Jack Benny speaking. Is Mr. DeMille back from lunch yet? Oh, he is? Well, can I speak to him? Thank you. There you are, Mary. Yeah, I told you he was just as anxious. Hello? Well, how are you, Mr. DeMille? This is Jack Benny. Oh, I'm pretty good. Say, listen, I just called... Mary? Oh, she's fine. She's fine. Say, Mr. DeMille, I've been thinking about that story. What's that? Why, no. No, I haven't got a cold. Well, maybe just a little cold. Look, Mr. DeMille, I've been thinking about that story. Huh? Oh, hot lemonade, huh? Yes, I'll do that. Say, Mr. DeMille, I've been thinking about... Quinine? Well, I don't think it's that bad. Oh, is that so? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No sneezing. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Ask him what's good for falling hair.
Quiet. Uh-huh. Well, thanks, Mr. DeMille, but look, what I called you up about... Oh, it did, eh? Fixed you right up, huh? Well, thanks very much, Mr. DeMille. Yeah, goodbye. No, wait, what I wanted... Hello? Hello? Can you imagine that? We were cut off.
Good morning, Cecil B. DeMille Productions. I'm sorry, Mr. DeMille is in conference. Mr. DeMille is in conference. Call later, please.
I'm still not satisfied. Before I start casting a picture, I want to know that the story is right. And this story certainly isn't.
Well, it's a perfect part for Gary Cooper, Mr. DeMille.
And the character's all right, yes, but he doesn't do anything. What is it, Miss Cole?
I hate to disturb you, but Jack Benny is here.
Jack Benny. Didn't you tell him I was in a story conference?
Yes, sir, but it didn't do much good. He thinks it's about a story for him.
Oh, I was afraid of that. Well, send him in.
Yes, sir. Come in, Mr. Benny.
Oh, thanks. Well, hello, CV. How are you?
No, I'll pull through. Sit down, Jack.
Thanks. You know Mary, don't you?
Of course I do. Glad to see you, Mary.
I just want you to know, Mr. DeMille, that I'm not here of my own free will. He dragged me.
Oh, stop it, Mary. You know, CV, Mary thinks I'm making a pest out of myself. You better tell her.
I don't think that's necessary.
Oh. Well, how's it going, CV? Miss Cole told me you were having a story conference. That sounds like pretty good news.
It might be if we had a story to confer about. Nothing doing yet, Jack.
Oh, I see. Well, that's too bad.
You know, Jack, I've been thinking. Here you and I have been stalling around, wasting all your time, and we're not getting any place. Maybe you ought to try some other producer.
What? You mean walk out on you? I'm not built that way, Mr. DeMille. I'm not a quitter. I'm the kind of an actor who sticks.
What?
I said sticks. Now, look, Mr. DeMille, I don't care what happens. I'm with you right to the end.
Well, that's very kind of you, Jack.
Yeah, I'm not going to let a little thing like a story lick us. Not if I have to write one myself.
Just like that, huh?
Well, sure, I can do it all right. After all, I've had some experience, you know.
Well, it'll take you quite a while. Say, maybe it's not such a bad idea at that.
Well, of course it isn't.
No. Now you run along and write that story, Jack, and I'll give you plenty of time to do it.
Okay.
Well, I'm going out to lunch. I'll see you in a couple of months.
What are you going to eat, a whale?
Mary. Now, look, CB. Now, look at here. I don't need a couple of months to write a story. When I get started on it, I'll probably knock it out in a couple of days. One day if I'm in the mood. Well, what's the matter? You don't believe I could do it, huh?
A complete scenario in 24 hours? I don't believe anyone could do it.
Oh, you don't? All right, Mr. DeMille, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start a story tonight. If I finish it in 24 hours, will you produce it?
Well, it'd have to be good.
Oh, I'll take care of that. Will you produce it?
If it's a good story, why not? Now, I'll tell you something else. If you can write a complete and original story in 24 hours, I'll let you play the lead in it.
Mary, you heard that. You heard what he said.
You're letting yourself in for it, Mr. DeMille.
I don't think so. It's a mental and physical impossibility.
That's Jack, all right.
You'll find out, CB.
So will you, JB.
Well, all I need is a quiet place to work in. I may have to go out of town.
That's all right with me. Any place you want.
Okay. Now, let's see if I can...
As a matter of fact, Jack, if you really want a quiet place, you could use my place up on Baldpate.
Where?
Baldpate Mountain. It's an old house I picked up a couple of years ago. I've never lived there. And no one can bother you because no one else can get in.
Oh.
There's only one key in existence, and I'll give that to you.
Only one key, eh? Hey, that sounds great.
Here it is. Yeah, that's the only key to Baldpate.
Well, say, where is this place? I mean, how do I get there?
Well, it's on top of Baldpate Mountain, about 17 miles from the village of Baldpate. You'll probably have to cut your way through the snowdrifts, but once you get there, you'll love it. The only thing you'll hear is a couple of hoot owls and the moaning of the wind.
What, no radio?
No one ever goes near there. It's an ideal place to work.
All right, the bet's on. I'll go pack now, and I'll leave for Baldpate in an hour.
Good. But remember, Jack, a complete and original scenario in 24 hours.
Listen, Mr. DeMille, if I don't bring you back a complete and original story in 24 hours, my name ain't Jack Benny.
Confidentially, Mr. DeMille, it ain't.
Oh, come on.
Well, this is it, Mr. Benny. This is Baldpate. You got that key?
Right here. Say, it's kind of dark up this way, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. Belinda and me's the caretakers of this place. But we don't get over more than 2 or 3 times a year.
If you ask me, that's 2 or 3 times too much.
Now, you hush, Belinda. Hush up. Go on in, Mr. Benny. I'll make a light for you. Ought to be an old oil lamp around here somewheres.
Well, hurry, Jed. It's black as pitch. Say, Mr. Benny, you ain't really set on staying here all night, are you?
Well, I certainly am, Mrs. Waller.
Oh, but you don't have to stay, do you?
Well, in a way, why not?
Why not? Jed, he asked why not.
I'll tell you why not, Mr.
Now,
Benny.
hush up, Belinda, hush up. No need to go worrying him with all those tales. Why, it's 20 years or more since old man Crummett passed away. I never did believe in ghosts anyway.
Say, who was this old Crummett?
He owned this place. May heaven help him.
But he's dead now. Dead and gone in his grave these 20 years.
In his grave, when he ain't out of it.
Now, hush, Belinda, hush up.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Waller. I'm not very much afraid of ghosts.
Oh, of course he ain't. Of course he ain't. I never would have believed a word of it myself. Except for what happened to the last feller that stayed here. Would you like to hear about it?
Well, not particularly.
Well, 'twas a night just like this. Black as a crow's feather, with the wind a-howling and a-moaning through the trees. Just like now. Yes, I guess that's why no one ever heard his screams. You see...
Here, stop it. I don't want to hear any more about it. I got a story to write here, and by heaven, I'll write it or my name ain't... Now get out of here, both of you. Go on, scat.
Then you set on staying, huh?
Yes, I'm set on staying, huh?
Come on then, Jed. We can go. Our conscience is clear.
Yep. Goodbye, mister. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye.
Let's see. The scene is in the library at night. The girl walks in, suddenly discovers her. Yeah, that's it, I think. Who's that? Who's out there? Who's outside that door?
Hiya, Morgan. Gee, it's dark in here.
Who are you?
It's okay, Morgan. I'm Cookie Bland.
That's fine, but I'm not Morgan. How'd you get in here anyway?
Why, come through the door.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I happen to have the only key to that door.
Oh, is that so? What do you think this thing is, a crochet needle?
Oh, so you've got one, too. What are you doing here?
Can the chatter. You know I was supposed to meet you here. You come for the dough, didn't you?
The dough?
Well, sure. Hey, you cracked the safe yet?
Why, no. Say, what is this?
Now, listen here, Morgan.
My name isn't Morgan. I'm Jack Benny.
What?
You heard me, Jack Benny.
Oh, I'm dealing with a screwball, huh?
Oh, listen, go away, will you? I've got a story to write. I'm right in the middle of a plot.
Yeah? Well, if you ain't Morgan, you're going to be in the middle of another kind of a plot. And it don't have no happy ending.
What are you talking about?
Stick 'em up, pal.
Stick 'em up?
Stick 'em up or I'll blow you through the wall. Hey, listen. What's that?
Somebody else is trying to get in. They told me there was only one key to this place.
Shut up. Look here, screwball. I'm going to hide in the next room, see? And you get him out of here. And don't mention nothing about me being here, see? Because if you do, it's curtains. You understand? Curtains.
Curtains.
Right.
Good evening.
Well, good evening. Who are you?
Who are you?
Now, I asked first.
Oh, never mind that. How did you get in here?
Well, no trouble at all. I had a key.
You lie. There is only one key to Ball. Pate and I have it.
Well, it sure gets around. Now, listen, miss, I'm a very busy man. I came here to write...
What is your name?
My name is Jack Benny, I think.
Please, this is no time for jokes.
All right, then have it your own way. My name isn't Jack Benny, it's Morgan.
Morgan?
Yes, Morgan.
Put up your hands. Put them up.
Say, this is getting a little bit monotonous.
I am going to kill you, Mr. Morgan.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't shoot. I'm not Morgan. I only said that because the other fellow told me if I wasn't Morgan...
What other fellow?
Huh?
What other fellow? Are we someone else here?
Oh, no. It's a fellow I met last week. He's in the curtain business. But I'm not Morgan. You gotta believe me.
Very well. It is good for you that you spoke in time.
Well, thank you. Wow. Well, maybe you'll tell me what this is all about. I mean, why do you want to shoot Mr. Morgan?
Why? Because he is a beast. Because he is planning to rob me of my inheritance. Listen, do you know who I am? My name is Crummett. Rita Crummett.
Not one of the grave-walking Crummets.
No. I see someone has told you about my grandfather.
Yes, casually.
20 years ago, my grandfather died very mysteriously.
Hmm?
When he died, he left over $100,000. No one ever received a penny of it. Do you know why?
He forgot to put stamps on the envelopes.
No. No one knew where he was. But recently, some new facts have come to light. Facts which prove definitely that the money is still in existence. That it is buried. Buried here in this very house.
$100,000 in this house?
Yes, and it is all mine. All mine, do you hear?
Faintly.
But a man named Morgan knows of this too. He is planning to come here, to take the money, to rob me. Oh, you must help me.
Well, I'd like to, yes. But I have a story to write, and I've only got about 3 minutes.
Listen. Who is that?
I don't know, and don't introduce me.
Look, there is someone coming down these stairs. He is carrying a lantern.
Who's down there? Who's down there?
Shall we answer him?
Miss Crummett, did your grandfather carry a lantern?
Never.
Was he a tall, thin man, all bent over with a long gray beard?
No.
Then there's a stranger in the house.
Who's there, I say?
It's us.
What are you doing here? Who's that woman? I don't like women.
Now, just a minute, my friend. If you'll come out from behind that beard, I'd like to ask a couple of questions myself. I mean, how did you get in here?
I came through the back door.
There is no back door.
I made one.
It wasn't that funny.
I know who he is now. He is the hermit of Baldpate Mountain. He is crazy, a maniac.
Oh, so you're a hermit, eh?
Yes, I am. I live alone. I live alone, but I don't like it. Get that woman out of here. I can't stand women. I hate women. I hate all women.
How about Hedy Lamarr?
I don't like her either.
Boy, you are nuts.
Mr. Benny, please, do not joke with him.
Shh. They're coming. You hear the drum? Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. They're coming. Legions upon legions. Marching, marching. Closer and closer. Legions upon legions. And they're all dead.
That man, I have heard of him. He is very dangerous. There's no telling what he will do. If he comes back, we must humor him.
Yeah, if I come back, humor me.
Oh, no. No, do not go, please. You must not leave me alone now.
Look, I came here to write a story.
Listen. There is someone at the door again. Someone is trying to get in.
It's about time somebody tried to get out.
I must not be seen here. I will be up in the attic. Do not breathe a word.
Hello, Jack.
Mary, you?
Who'd you expect, Corrigan?
Why not? How'd you open that door?
With a key, why?
That's ridiculous. Don't you know there's only 4 keys in existence?
Well, mine makes 5. I didn't want to disturb you, so when I came through the village, I borrowed it from the grocer.
A fine place that DeMille sent me to. Wait till I see him again. What'd you come up here for, anyway?
Well, don't look so annoyed. I got worried about you. I thought of you up here all alone, and, well, I thought you might like some company.
Company? Got more company now than a sweepstake winner. Mary, this is no place for you. You gotta leave right now.
What do you mean, leave? I just got here.
I know, but you gotta go. Now, don't ask questions, please.
Are you trying to get rid of me?
Oh, yes, I'm trying to get rid of you.
Why?
Mary, will you please do what I say?
Not until I know what's behind all this. What's going on here anyway?
There's nothing going on here. Nothing.
Well, boy meets girl.
Here, what's the matter now?
That man is trying to kill me. He's mad. Oh, you've got to help me. Stay near me. I can't stand it.
Here, now, stop. It's all right. I'll take care of you. Just calm yourself. Now, everything's going to be all right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Jack.
What?
Who's the foreigner?
Her name is Rita Crummett, and she's in a lot of trouble. I'm trying to help her out. Miss Crummett, this is Mary Livingston.
Oh, how do you do? I am very pleased to meet you.
I'll bet you are. So this is the story you were going to write, eh?
Well, I started to tell you.
I thought there was some reason why you wanted to get rid of me.
Now, listen, Mary.
Oh, don't try to make excuses.
Oh.
It's too bad I happened to come up here, isn't it? But I'm glad I did. Glad I found out about you before it's too late.
Mary, are you crazy? I never saw this woman before in my life.
Then what is she doing here?
I'll tell you what she's doing. She came here after $100,000.
Oh, bank night.
Now, look, Mary, this money
Oh,
was...
you can't pull the wool over my eyes. It's all off between us, Jack. This is the end. Take Miss Crumpet and go.
It's not Crumpet, it's Crummett.
Well, she certainly looks it.
Mary, look, this is silly. It's her money, and she came here to get it. Now, there's a man named Morgan who's trying to take it away from her, and there's a fellow named Cokie Bland who's hiding in the other room, and he's trying to get it.
All right, wise guy, stick him up.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Bland. Wait a second. I didn't mean to tell her, really. I didn't. It just slipped out.
Stick him up. Come on, all of you.
Now, look what you done, Mary. I hope you're satisfied.
I warned you not to squeal, didn't I?
Oh.
I warned you, pal. But you double-crossed me, see? And now I'm gonna lump your dumplings.
You're gonna what?
Lump your dumplings!
You're gonna lump my dumplings?
Jack? Jack, what does he mean?
I'm not sure, but if it's what I think it is, you better shake the mothballs out of your old black dress.
We return in just a moment to the second act of Seven Keys to Baldpate, starring Jack Benny, Mary Livingston, and Cecil B. DeMille. Now for a brief intermission, during which we overhear your friends, the Browning family. In their living room, Mr. Browning is discovered checking over the month's bills. Dot sits by the window sewing. Betty has the radio tuned in to Flatfoot Flugie, while Dad is vainly trying to add a column of figures.
26 and 43 years and... Quiet! Isn't it enough that I have to pay the bills? Or do I have to add them up in a madhouse, too?
What bill, Dad?
What bills? These bills. What on earth does this family do with stockings?
We hang them up at Christmas and wait for Santa Claus.
Well, you're looking at Santa Claus right now. But I can't be Santa Claus on stockings much longer. In fact, I don't think I'll buy another pair until you tell me why you can't make them last.
Why, Dad, stockings just wear out. They pop runs and... Oh, Betty, if you'd only wash your stockings the way I told you. Yeah, Dot, I know. Every night in Lux. Don't forget the Lux. It does make a difference, Beth. My stockings last lots longer than yours. On account of this elasticity you're always talking about, I suppose. Stockings should stretch and then spring back.
Oh, I wish this budget would.
Honestly, Betty, it's dopey to wash stockings the way you do. Come on, be a good egg. Use Lux and help Dad out with the bill.
Is somebody in this family actually going to do something to help me? Mother! Come quick! It's a miracle. That's what it is. A miracle.
Yes, the girl who wears the stockings and the man who pays the bills are both thankful for Lux Flakes. They cut down on costly runs and protect the beauty and fit of your stockings, too. Wash your stockings after every wearing in gentle Lux Flakes. To save money, buy the big box. We continue with Seven Keys to Baldpate, starring Jack Benny, Mary Livingston, and Cecil B. DeMille. A few minutes have passed. In the old house on Baldpate Mountain, the situation remains unchanged, and Jack is still unshot. Rita Crummett, Mary, and Jack are seated in a row against the wall. Bland covers them with an automatic.
And I don't want nobody to make any false moves, see? If anybody bats an eyelash, you know what.
You'll lump his dumplings.
Right.
Keep quiet, Mary.
Well, that's what he said he'd do, didn't he? He was going to lump your dumplings.
Well, you don't have to remind him of it.
Don't worry, screwball. I changed my mind about that. I'm going to wait here for Morgan.
Well, I can wait if you can.
Morgan is a beast.
Nobody asked you, sister.
He's trying to steal my money, but he won't. He won't, I tell you. I'll get that money tonight if it's the last thing I do.
You lay one finger on it, and I will be.
Hey, what is all this about money? What's everyone doing up here anyway?
Oh, she came up here for some money, and this guy came up ahead of her. I came up to write a story. You came to keep me company. Not one of us had sense enough to bring sandwiches.
Shut up.
Well, why don't you all go home and leave me alone?
Shut up, I tell you.
I won't shut up. You can't intimidate me. Anyway, not until Morgan gets here.
Well, maybe I won't wait for Morgan, see? Maybe I'll break the rules for once and let you have it right now.
Here, stop! Put that gun down. Put it down.
Everybody stand where you are. I've got you covered.
Look, it's the hermit.
Drop that gun. Drop me, I say!
Oh, nuts.
There, smarty pants.
Hey, Jack. Who's the guy with the long beard?
That's the hermit, Mary. Hiya, Hermie.
Wonder what he looks like.
I'm not going to get a lawnmower just for that.
Who's this woman? Why is she here?
Now, Hermie, control yourself. You certainly showed up at the right time. Where'd you get that gun?
That's none of your business. I heard what you said. Up here after old Crummett's money, huh? Well, you won't get it. None of you will get it.
Listen, look, I don't even want the money. All I want is to be left alone, that's all. And this guy here was going to shoot me.
Oh, he was, eh? Well, he won't.
There. You see, Mr. Bland?
'Cause I'm going to shoot you myself.
What?
There, you see, Mr. Bland?
Quiet. Listen, Hermie, look. Be reasonable. What did I ever do to you?
You brought these women here.
Oh, he did, eh?
I did not.
He did, too. Listen here, Hermie.
I heard the whole thing. This dame came here for the dough, and this here guy promised he'd get it. There were a couple of crooks, and if I was you, I'd give it to him right now.
Hermie, don't listen to him. He's crazy.
He is, eh?
Sure he is. He's stark raving mad.
So am I. Shake, brother.
Shake.
Gosh.
Stop shaking, Jack. You're not in it.
Go on, Hermie. Let the red have it.
Right now?
Sure, right now. Why not?
Hey, you keep out of this. If he wants to wait a little, that's his business.
Go on, Hermie. Give it to him.
No. We must wait.
That's right. We gotta wait for Morgan.
No, not for Morgan. We wait until midnight. I'll sit here and watch you squirm. Then when we hear the old village clock striking the hour, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Stop! Hermie, you can't do that. You can't shoot a man down in cold blood. Why, you don't know me. You don't even know who I am. You can't do it, Hermie. I tell you, you can't do it.
Pick up your hand. Come on. Up with them.
Now I know somebody's selling keys outside.
Put that gun down, Santa Claus. I'm taking charge here. Now don't move. Anybody.
Brother, I don't know who you are, but you certainly are a lifesaver.
Yeah? Hello, Bland.
Hi, Morgan.
Morgan?
What are you laughing at?
Hello, Morgan.
Mary.
What's going on here, Bland?
Well, I don't know, boss. I come up here like you told me to, and I find this guy punning on a typewriter, and this here dame walks in and she...
Rita. So you're here, eh?
Well, what of it?
You double-crossing little snake.
Say, you can't talk to Miss Crummett like that.
Crummett? That's a laugh. Do you know who this dame is?
If she's Miss America, I'll scream.
Quiet.
Her name is Nolan. Rita Nolan. She's the slickest little crook in the business.
What do you mean, crook? That money belongs to anyone who finds it.
Nobody will find it, because it's mine. Every penny of it mine.
Keep your mouth shut. Put up your hands, everybody.
Me too?
Yeah, you too. Keep them there, you hear?
Yes, sir.
Come here, Bland. I want to speak to you.
Okay, boss.
The rest of you sit tight. I got my eyes on all of you.
Phew. Gee, Mary, I guess we're in a tough spot. I wished I had a gun.
What for? You wouldn't shoot anybody.
No, but I could commit suicide. Mary. Hey, Mary. Don't make a move, but listen to me. We gotta get that gun away from Morgan. I got a plan.
What is it?
When Morgan comes over here and starts to talk, you look behind him, see? And then you yell, "Look out behind you." Then when he turns around, I'll grab his gun. How do you like that for an idea?
I think it's corny.
What do you mean, corny? Shh. Here he comes.
All right, Bland. Let's get after that dough. It's in the house somewhere. We've got to find it tonight. Here, you take the upstairs, and I'll search down here.
All right, Mary, remember the plan?
Oh, yes. Say, Mr. Morgan, will you come here a minute?
Huh? What do you want?
Personally, I don't think this is going to work, but look out behind you.
What?
Hey, give me that gun.
Why, you...
Stand right where you are, Mr. Morgan. Now put up your hands, everybody. You didn't think it would work, eh, Mary? Say, I guess I'm not a scenario writer for nothing. Everybody line up against that wall, see? I mastered this situation, see? I got you all in the palm of me hand. If anybody moves, I'll dump his lumplings.
The telephone.
Who had that phone connected?
I'll answer it.
Oh, no, you don't. Get away from that phone.
Then call for me.
No, it isn't.
Stand back, all of you.
Yep.
I'll take care of this, see?
Be careful what you say, Jack. You can't tell who it might be.
Don't worry. I guess I can handle it. I guess.
Go ahead, Jack.
All right. Don't push me. Hello? Hello? What? No, madam, this is not Sam's Delicatessen. Can you imagine that?
Whew.
Now what are we going to do? Anyway, I've still got the gun. We're going to stay here until I can reach the police.
The police?
Yes, if we have to wait here all night.
Jack, why do we have to sit around waiting for the police?
Why? Because nobody knows we're here, because I'm not a mental telepathist, because we haven't got a shortwave radio.
Well, we have a telephone. Why don't we call them?
Well, I'd have thought of that, too. I'll call him right now. Now, don't move, anybody. Hello? Hello, operator. Give me the police department and hurry.
You're making a mistake there, buddy.
You don't say. Well, you made a mistake when you walked in here and tried to push me around. Hello? Is this the Baldpate Village Police Station? Well, this is Jack Benny, and I'm up on Baldpate Mountain. Yes, Jack Benny. What do you mean, a gag? I tell you... What? All right, then you can be the King of Bulgaria. I'm still Jack Benny. The King of Bulgaria.
Let me talk to him, Jack.
Okay.
Now listen, Your Majesty.
Give me that phone. Now get this. I'm up here on Baldpate Mountain. I've got a... Yes. Yeah, I know that. Look, I know no one lives on Baldpate. That's why I'm here. No, I'm not crazy. Hello? Hello? Hello, listen. Hello? You beat that. He hung up. I'd like to go down there and stuff that phone down his throat.
Why don't you?
And let all these crooks walk out on me? Oh, no.
Don't worry about them. You leave the gun with me, and I'll keep school till you get back with the cops.
Now, don't be ridiculous. You couldn't handle this mob. All alone and everything.
Sure I could. If anybody tried to get out, I'd do that stuff with the dumplings. Give me the gun.
Oh, I don't like this. Suppose something happened.
Nothing's going to happen. Go ahead, Jack, and get back here as soon as you can.
Well, all right, but keep your eye on him. I'll be back in an hour, and I'll have the whole police force with me. Hey, open this door. Hey, what kind of a police station is this? Open up, will you?
Hey, what goes on here?
Hey, let me in. Is this the Baldpate Village Police Station?
It ain't the morgue.
Well, you can't prove it by you. Where is everybody?
Well, we close early on Mondays.
Oh, you do, eh? Well, I want to see the chief constable. Where is he?
Chief Constable? You'll find him in cell number 6. He's playing draw poker with the 3 prisoners.
Playing with the prisoners? Isn't he taking a chance?
No, they're his cards.
Oh.
Just go right through that door. The chief is the guy without the stripes.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief, I'll raise that bid.
It'll cost you a dime to see him, Chief.
And it'll cost him another dime to see me.
Hey, say, Chief, can I interrupt you for a minute? I'm the guy that called you up about an hour ago from Baldpate Mountain.
Oh, yeah?
I came down here to tell you there's a gang of desperate crooks up there, and you got to do something about it.
Crooks, eh?
Yeah.
What do you got, Joe? 3 kings.
Hey, will you wait a minute? I just left them.
I got 3 aces. Your pot, Chief.
Look, I just left them up there. They're being held by Mary Livingston. They're dangerous, Chief. You got to come right away.
Whose deal is it?
My deal, Chief.
Look, will you listen? One of them's going to kill me at 12 o'clock on the dot. He's a maniac. And if he misses me, there's 3 others who won't.
Well, I can't quit winners, can I?
Oh.
I'll open a new deck. Take out the 2s and 3s.
Look, Chief, I hate to be a kibitzer, but this is a matter of life and death.
Who opened? You did. I did not.
You did, too. Now, look, Chief, all I want is...
10 cents blind, Joe. I'll see that and raise it a dime.
Look, all I want is
Up a nickel.
All I want is
a nickel and 1 better.
Chief, it's a matter of life and death.
And a nickel again.
It's $100,000.
What? Well, that's too high for me. I pass. Wait a minute. What did you say?
$100,000 on Baldpate Mountain.
Well, what are we sitting around here for?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. There's a whole gang of crooks. They're after the money.
Not while Kennedy is chief constable. Can you show me the way?
Follow me.
Then let's go. I've kept this county clean of crooks for 10 years. And by heaven, it'll stay clean.
Then come on.
Wait. Where's my holster?
Here it is, Chief, hanging on your chair. Hurry up.
Is my gun in it?
Yes, and 2 aces. Let's go.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. This is the Lux Radio Theater, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you with the good wishes of the makers of Lux Flakes. And now, before bringing you the 3rd act of our play, starring Jack Benny, Mary Livingston, and Cecil B. DeMille, we have a little intermission. During the week, one of the most distinguished violinists in the world, Mr. Ephraim Zimbalist, boarded a plane and headed west just to be with us tonight, a tribute for which we're most grateful. Due to the insidious machinations of Jack Benny, all violinists have fallen into a mild sort of disrepute, and especially a certain composition for the violin, written by Schubert, a composition spelt B, as in Benny, E, E. Like a knight of old, aglow with the fierce flame of vengeance, Mr. Zimbalist is here to right ancient wrongs, and to play the B with some regard for Mr. Schubert and the sensibilities of listening America. At last, Mr. Benny is cornered. Mr. Zimbalist, are you ready?
Thank you, Mr. Wick, but there's no hurry. Let him suffer for a while longer.
Well, why not? Oh, by the way, Mr. Zimbalist, what do you think of Jack as an actor?
I find a remarkable similarity, Mr. Wick, between Mr. Benny the actor and Mr. Benny the violinist. Even as an actor, he insists on playing in 7 keys.
Mr. Zimbalist, well, shucks, I play the violin, too. Maybe you heard me in The Buccaneer. I was the pirate who played the violin for Frederick March to soothe his nerves.
Oh, is that so? May I suggest, Mr. Wick, that next time you give him a nice cup of hot milk?
Oh. Don't you like anything around here, Mr. Zimbalist?
Oh, of course. I'm just trying to be funny, Mr. Wick. When a violinist tries to be a comedian, or when a comedian tries to be a violinist, heaven help the audience. I think I better play the big.
Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ephraim Zimbalist, accompanied at the piano by Theodore Seidenberg. America thanks you, Mr. Zimbalist, and we all trust Mr. Benny's musical dumplings are at long last properly lumped. We hear him now with Mary Livingston and Cecil B. DeMille in Act 3 of 7 Keys to Baldpate. An hour later, Jack Benny has enlisted the aid of the Baldpate Village Police. A car containing our hero and the chief constable pulls up the rugged mountain road, comes to a stop just outside of the old house.
There's the house, Chief Kennedy.
All right. Now, don't get excited. We're around a whole bunch of them up. Come on.
Wait. Gosh, I forgot. We can't get in. I came out without the key.
Oh, don't worry about that. I got one.
Oh, you have? Well, don't lose it. They're awfully scarce. Hey, look.
Huh? What's the matter now?
Gee, I left the light burning in that room. Now it's dark.
All right. Take it easy. I've got a flashlight. We'll break in on them and take them by surprise. Ready?
Right.
Now. Put them up! Everybody!
Wait a minute. Why, there's nobody here. Hey, Mary! Mary! Why, they've all gone.
They can't be gone. We just seen them coming down the mountain. Say, I thought there was something screwy about you.
But I'm not screwy. They must be somewhere in the house. You look upstairs and I'll take the cellar.
Okay. Here, take this other gun out of my hip pocket. And if you see anybody, shoot first.
Gee, I hope nothing happened to Mary. Mary, are you in the cellar? Mary, if you're down here, turn on a light. I can't see a thing. Mary.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, Mary, you're safe. Where are you? I can't see.
I'm over here, Jack, sitting in a rocking chair.
Oh, I thought something happened to you. Well, get out of that chair and come over here.
Okay, but you'll have to untie these ropes first.
What ropes? You mean you're tied to that chair?
I couldn't help it, Jack. Really, I couldn't.
I might have known this would happen. Let me at those ropes. Who did this?
Mr. Morgan.
Oh, Morgan, eh?
Yeah, right after I dropped the gun.
Oh, you dropped the gun.
Well, I couldn't help it. I was standing there covering him just like you told me. And all of a sudden, Morgan yelled, "Look out behind you." And when I turned around, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that trick is better than I thought it was.
Oh, shut up. Hey, listen, they're all upstairs again. Come on, slip out of those ropes.
I'm ready.
Up the stairs, quick.
Jack, maybe we better not go up there.
Oh, what are you talking about? I brought the law back with me. Kennedy's taking charge. He'll have those crooks in jail in an hour. They don't end up in a card game. Come on.
Shut up, everybody. Shut up or I'll plug somebody.
Now, what goes on, Chief? You got the whole crowd, huh?
And I got the money, too. It's in that big bag on the floor.
That's my money. It's mine.
Quiet, Hermie.
You. I'll get you at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, eh? You got to get free first. Where'd you find the money, Chief?
That hermit dug it up. This woman took it from him, Bland took it from her, Morgan took it from him.
And I'm taking it from all of you.
Put that bag down.
Give me that bag. It's mine.
Don't let her take that.
Keep your hands off.
Put down that bag, Drop that bag, all of you. Drop that bag. The law's here now. The law will take care of that dough in its own way.
That's telling them, Chief.
Where's the phone?
Right over there on the desk.
Put that money up here next to me.
There you are, Chief.
Now, everybody stay nice and quiet. Hello, operator. I want Village 826. Yeah.
Who you calling, Chief? The riot squad? I guess all you crooks will have a lot of time to think this over.
Hello, Village 826. Is this Joe's pool room?
Pool room?
This is Chief Constable Kennedy. Let me speak to my wife, will you? What? You don't see her around.
Maybe she's behind the 8-ball.
Mary.
Oh, you did, eh? Well, put her on the phone.
Look, Chief, I don't want to interfere with your business, but why don't you call up the station?
Hello. Is that you, Agnes? How's the game tonight, honey? That's good. Listen, honey, get this clear. I want you to get some clothes together in a hurry and catch the next train for Canada. Now, don't ask questions. I'll meet you there Wednesday morning. Yeah, with $100,000.
Say, what are you trying?
Shut up! You got that straight, honey? Okay. Goodbye, sweetheart. What? Oh, all right. Goodbye, dear. Now, everybody stay where you are.
Say, what do you think you're going to do?
You heard me, buddy. I'm going to Canada.
It's a fine time to visit the quintuplet.
Shut up.
Why can't you can't get away with this? I'll have the law on your trail in 3 minutes.
No, you won't. I took care of that. There's 4 of my boys guarding the mountain road right now, with orders to shoot anybody trying to leave. You're all going to stay right here until I get a head start. Then you can do what you want.
You certainly are a fine cop stealing that money.
Yeah.
Why don't we divvy up, even Stephen?
You keep out of this. Why shouldn't I steal it from a gang of crooks like you? It's one chance in a lifetime to get this much dough, and I'm going to grab it. Yeah. I'm going to live in a marble hall and eat off gold plates and send my 2 boys to college. What do you think of that?
You won't get away with it. I'll shoot you dead. You're second on my list right now.
Come back here, you.
Shoot. Go on. Shoot. Missed me.
He's gone. He's loose again. A fine mess you made out of this, Mr. Kennedy.
You keep quiet.
Why, that man's a maniac. He's crazy. He's going to kill me at 12 o'clock on the dot.
If he bumps you off, he's not as crazy as I thought.
Listen, Kennedy, you'll never get away with this. Hand over that dough.
Stand back, you.
want that money.
No, you don't. Get away from me. Get away or I'll plug the whole bunch. Get away.
Come on, everybody, grab him.
Everybody, stand right where you are. Put up your hands. Go on, put them up, everybody.
Mary. Mary, look who it is. Look.
Who are you?
I'm Cecil B. DeMille, the owner of Baldpate. 2 policemen refused to let me pass, and I shot them dead.
Oh, this isn't true. Why, it can't be true.
What's the matter here, Jack? Who are these people? How'd they get in here?
Gee, I don't know.
Have they disturbed you in your work? How are you getting on with your story?
How am I getting on? It's a nice question. Fine place you sent me to. Nothing but ghosts, crooks, murderers, maniacs, and now a director. You told me there was only 1 key. This place has more keys than a grand piano.
But, Jack...
You win, I lose. 24 hours. I couldn't write a story in this joint in 24 years. Well, what's the matter with you? What are you all laughing at? Hey, what goes on here, anyway?
I just want to tell you, Jack, I hope you're not going to be mad, but the whole thing was a joke.
What was a joke?
I sent all these people up here just for a gag.
A gag?
That's right. This girl you thought was Rita Crummett. Her real name is Eve Forsythe. I used her in my last picture.
How do you do, Mr. Benny?
Well, this is the darndest thing.
Cokie Bland isn't a crook. He isn't even Cokie. He's my old prop man.
How are you, Mr. Benny?
Well, this is very funny.
And Morgan here is an actor I've been using for years. His name is Jones.
Jones? Well, what an odd name.
Yeah, Kennedy isn't a real chief constable, but he's a real actor.
Well, thanks, Mr. DeMille.
I'd say he's a real actor. He certainly had me going. Well, this is quite a surprise.
And, of course, Mary was in on the whole thing from the start.
Oh, she was?
Hello, Jack.
Mary. Oh, gosh darn you. Oh, this is very funny. Say, Mr. DeMille, who was the hermit?
Huh?
You know, the hermit. The guy you sent up here to act like a crazy man. Oh, he had me scared for a while. Who was he?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, the crazy guy. The guy who said he was going to shoot me at 12 o'clock, sharp.
You know anything about this, Kennedy?
Well, not me. I figured he was one of the actors.
Well, I didn't send him.
What? You mean you...
There must be some mistake. I don't know anything about a hermit.
Well, neither do I. I thought that...
Wait a minute. Do you mean this hermit is on the level?
Well, he must be.
But he's going to shoot me. He's going to kill me at 12 o'clock.
Now, keep calm, Jack. There must be something we can do.
But he's a maniac. He's crazy. He's roaming around loose. Listen. What time is it? What time is it now?
It's exactly 2 minutes of 12.
2 minutes of... Oh.
Jack! Jack, look at me. Are you all right?
He got me, Mary. He got me. Mary,
Yes, Jack?
tell DeMille.
Yes, yes?
Tell DeMille.
What, Jack? Tell DeMille what?
Tell DeMille his watch is 2 minutes slow.
Mr. DeMille's office. I'm sorry, Mr. DeMille is in conference. I'm sorry, Mr. DeMille is in a story conference with Mr. Benny. Mr. DeMille is in a story conference.
And there's your story, Mr. DeMille. At the finish, the hermit shoots me and I fall to the floor. Mary leans over to me and says, Jack, Look at me. Are you all right? Then I look up at her and say, tell DeMille his watch is 2 minutes slow. Finish. There's your story, Mr. DeMille, and I finished it in 24 hours.
Gee, Jack, that's swell.
What do you think of it, CV?
Did you write all this since you were in this office yesterday?
I certainly did.
Did you work at my place on Baldpate?
Yes, and you were right. I never heard a sound. But I used it for the locale of my story and brought in a lot of crooks and things. Well, I even put you in it. I had you come in at the finish to tell me it was all a gag.
Yeah, I know.
And I wrote a part for Mary, too. Well, how do you like it?
It's very good, Jack.
Thanks. Now, you remember your promise, CV. You said you'd produce it.
I certainly will.
There you are, Mary, you see?
Gee.
And Gary Cooper is just the man for it.
Gary Cooper? Now, wait a minute, Mr. DeMille. You said I could play the lead in it.
I said you could play the lead if it was an original story.
Well, it is original. And it's good, too.
Yes, but it was also good in 1910 when Earl Biggers wrote the novel.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and in 1913 when George M. Cohan produced the play.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah, and in 1925 when Paramount produced the silent picture.
Oh, they got in it, too.
Yeah, and in 1929 when RKO made it as a talkie.
Well,
Yeah,
well.
and I believe they all called it 7 Keys to Baldpate.
They did?
Ah.
Gee, and I was so proud of it. God, I thought it was my own brainchild, didn't you?
And it turned out to be an orphan.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm licked. So the picture's off, ACB?
I'm sorry, Jack.
Gee, and I wanted to play the lead in it. Well, that's the way it goes. Yeah. Come on, Mary, let's go home.
Wait a minute, Jack. You've still got a chance. Grab that script.
What for?
We'll take it over to Walt Disney. He'll produce it.
Gee, Walt Disney. Say, there's an idea. Come on, let's go. Walt Disney.
So long, Jack.
Quack, 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 quack.
And that's the end of our Lux Radio Theater version of 7 Keys to Baldpate. But not the end of Jack Benny. He'll be back in a moment with Mary Livingston to be put on the spot again, I'm sure, by Mr. DeMille. Meantime, may I ask you, our listeners, a question? Have you ever been put on the spot by embarrassingly red, rough hands? If you have, if you want the smooth, white hands everyone admires, try changing to Lux Flakes for washing your dishes. Your hands may spend as much as 500 hours in the dishpan every year. Think of the damage a harsh soap may do. Such soaps are drying. They rob your skin of its natural oils. But Lux Flakes have none of the harmful alkali so drying to the skin. They leave your hands lovely. Do as so many clever women do nowadays. Use Lux for dishes. Buy the thrifty big box tomorrow. And now, Mr. DeMille, the actor, surrenders to Mr. DeMille, your host and producer, as he brings Jack Benny and Mary Livingston back to our microphone.
Thank you for that word, actor, Mr. Rick. And now a brief exchange of opinions with the man of the hour. Oh, Jack, Mr. Benny. Mary, where's Jack?
He's in the next room taking off his makeup.
Makeup? Well, Mary, does he use makeup on radio?
Well, Jack has to on account of mic fright.
Mic fright? What's that got to do with it?
When he doesn't put on makeup, he frightens the mic.
I see.
Here he comes now. Hey, Jack, Mr. DeMille wants you.
Oh, yes, Mr. DeMille.
Well, Jack, now that it's all over, I've got to admit that tonight's acting was superb. Really great.
Gee, Mr. DeMille, you mean that?
I certainly do. It was brilliant.
Well, then there's no room for an argument there.
Thanks. I thought I was pretty good.
You?
Of course. Who did you mean?
Oh, well, yes, Mr. DeMille. I thought your acting was all right. Yes, sir, all right.
You mean you didn't think it was good?
Well, I didn't think it was bad.
But you didn't say it was good.
No, I said it was all right, all right.
Yeah, but you said it like Major Bowes.
No, I really thought you were swell. And speaking of histrionic ability, I wasn't exactly a sound effect on this program myself, you know.
I agree with you, Jack. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
Hey, Gable.
What? What is it, Mary?
As long as it's a matter of personal opinion, I thought I was pretty good, too.
Mary, you were excellent. I don't know what we'd have done without you.
It's got me stumped, too.
By the way, Jack, what did you think of the way Mr. Zimbalist played the bee?
Oh, I thought it was quite good, Mr. DeMille. Of course, his pizzicato was a bit strong. And when it came to the andante, I thought he was slightly razzmatazz in there.
Oh, he was?
Oh, yeah. But when it came to the allegro, why, nobody can question that.
They better not question you either.
Yeah, tough. enough to do. Now, look. Always comes in with their little 2 cents. Now, look, Mr. DeMille, now that it's all over, let's be serious. How about my playing the leading role in your next picture? I've been looking forward to it, and I know I can do it. Why, I've been riding a horse 8 hours a day just to get in shape for the part.
Well, you've been practicing on the wrong kind of a horse, Jack. Union Pacific is the story of an iron horse.
The thing I rode wasn't made of feathers, Mr. DeMille.
But, Jack, you've got it all wrong. An iron horse is a locomotive. Union Pacific is a railroad story.
Oh, a railroad story, Mr. DeMille. Railroads are right down my alley.
That was before you moved to the new house.
Well, that means a part in the picture, I'll move right back. How about it, Mr. DeMille?
He'll think it over.
You stay out of this. What do you say?
Mary's right. I'll think it over.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
By the way, I want to wish you good luck on the opening of your new Jell-O series next Sunday night. You too, Mary.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. DeMille, I still think you're right about my trying to be a dramatic actor. I'll wash my hands of the whole thing. And to show you there's no hard feelings, I'll do it with Lux. Well, I guess we'll be running along. Come on, Mary.
Okay. Say, Jack, didn't it seem strange working tonight after our long vacation?
It sure did. But I got a lot of laughs tonight, didn't I, Mary?
Yeah, tuck in your shirt tail and let's go home.
Oh, good night. See you Sunday.
Good night, Hamlet. Good night, Mary.
Our stars in play for next Monday night are announced very shortly by Mr. DeMille. Heard in tonight's cast were Margaret Brayton as Rita, Ted Osborne as Hermie, Ross Forrester as Bland, Gail Gordon as Morgan, Lou Merrill as Kennedy, John Fee as Sergeant, Eddie Waller as Jed, Martha Wentworth as Belinda, Joe Kearns as a prisoner, Victor Rodman as Ballister, Mary Lansing as telephone operator, Frank Nelson as Oakley, Dorothy Grewatts as Miss Cole, and Catherine Carlton as a girl. Jack Benny and Mary Livingston return to the air on the Jell-O program next Sunday night. Mr. Benny's new Paramount film is Artists and Models Abroad. Louis Silvers, our musical director, appeared through courtesy of 20th Century Fox Studio, where he directed music for the new picture, Straight, Place, and Show. Here's Mr. DeMille.
Believing with Disraeli that variety is the mother of enjoyment, we turn from the comedy of tonight's play and bring you next Monday night to more dramatic and romantic feels in presenting our adaptation of the recent hit picture, Another Dawn. This tense play carries us to Arabia, where in the heat and mystery of the desert, a handful of soldiers hold aloft their country's flag, and a beautiful girl picks up the fragments of her lost happiness. Our stars, a trio of Hollywood's most popular celebrities, Madeleine Carroll, Francho Tone, and George Brent. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Madeleine Carroll, Francho Tone, and George Brent in Another Dawn. This is Cecil B. DeMille, the former actor, saying good night to you from Hollywood. Has been Melville Ruick. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey, where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is water. W-A-T-E-R.
Really?
You bet your life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, a comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic, with fully automatic power flight transmission. And the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Oh, shucks, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples. George, who's first on the veranda?
Mr. Walter...
Is that right, veranda?
I don't believe so, but it's nice.
Well, it can be if you have the right veranda.
Mr. Walter Mahonen and Miss Ruth Caloban. And they're waiting to meet you, Groucho. They have very interesting occupations we'd like to talk to them about. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, folks, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Let's see, Miss Ruth Coleman?
That's right.
And Mr. Walter Mahonen. Mahonen, huh? Ruth, you're very attractive.
Well, thank you.
Where are you from, originally?
Oh, I'm from Washington, D.C.
Would you mind revealing your approximate age? It isn't necessary, but we're nosy.
I'm
We like
24.
to know. 24? You don't look it.
Well, thanks. Do I look younger or older?
No, you look younger. I thought you were about 23 and a half. Huh? Are you married?
No, I'm not.
You're not married, huh? A girl with a cute squint like you, and you're not married? Have you tried squinting at the boys?
No, but maybe I will.
You can start on me, kid. And I'll squint right back. Who do you work for?
Well, I work for the National Bureau of Standards.
Oh, well, how are your standards?
Well, they're pretty high.
Well, if you ever lower them, will you come back and see me?
Possibly.
What do you do for the Bureau of Standards?
I'm a physicist.
A physicist? Well, prove it. Let's see you fish.
I didn't bring my fizzing apparatus.
Well, specifically, what are you doing for the Bureau of Standards?
Well, our work is pretty highly classified, so I'd rather not talk about it.
Well, the telephone book is classified. Would you... Walter Mahonen?
Yes.
You're Irish, huh?
No, Finnish.
Well, so am I. The only difference is I hate to admit it. Are you married, Walter?
Yes, I'm married to the most wonderful wife in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us something about your wife, would you?
She's handy with skillet and casserole, and she has a deft touch with condiments and agglutinating agents in victuals.
Agglutinating agents?
Yeah.
Do they get 10% of your salary? What is a agglutinating agent as opposed to a regular agent?
In soups, that gives the soup a thickness, as it were.
Oh, it's a kind of a catalyst?
Something like that. She
you
also
thought I was a jerk, didn't you? When did you meet your wife, Walter?
I met her 7 years ago on New Year's...
Was she agglutinating then?
No. In Seattle, Washington.
You met her in Seattle?
Mm-hmm. On New Year's Eve. And we were married a week later in Reno, Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you give us some details of this whirlwind courtship?
Well, I met her at 8:20 on New Year's Eve, or 8 o'clock, and at 8:20 I decided I was going to ask her to marry me, which I did at 12:20 that night, which she did a week later.
You must have been in pretty good shape if you could still tell time on New Year's Eve, 4 hours after the party started.
Well, it was a strange sort of a party. We went over to listen to symphony records at a sorority sister house of hers. We listened to Walk Through a Paradise Garden by Delius. And
you were listening to Paradise Garden by Delius on New Year's Eve?
That was the name of the symphony. Yeah.
Uh-huh. How long did this piece take, this Delius piece?
They served coffee at intervals, in which...
This is a whole evening of Delius?
A whole evening of Delius, punctuated by coffee with sugar and cream, and talk, as it were.
Did this girl know much about you, Walter? I mean, prior to this orgy that you threw there on New Year's Eve?
Yes.
I'm surprised the joint wasn't raided.
Well, I was considered
a rough affair, huh?
I was considered not a very good risk in marriage. I was a sort of a tramp, as it were. A tramp musician, and not very stable in those days.
Uh-huh.
About jobs, I mean.
Did you have a job?
At the time, yes. I was a beachcomber.
Well, you couldn't get a more substantial job than that. A fortune in beachcombing, huh? Old beer bottles, dead seagulls. Are you serious? Was this really your
Yes, I was
occupation?
working for the Headleys, who have a beachcombing place on at White's Point in San Pedro. And I worked for them. And
You combed the beach?
Up and down the beach from White's Point up to Portuguese Bend.
Uh-huh. Well, what kind of junk? What kind of stuff do you pick up? There?
Anything, flotsam and jetsam that could be merchandised.
Well, I picked up some flotsam and jetsam on the beach too. Are you doing any beachcombing these days?
No, I have a respectable job as a welder in a shipyard. But I'm doing some abstract sculpture in steel.
Abstract sculpturing in steel?
Yeah.
What is abstract steel sculpturing?
Well, abstract sculpture, as I understand it, is the addition of formal meaning to a mass that has no formal meaning by the use of human will, and I happen to choose a contemporary medium, which is steel.
Well, you've gone all your life through a kind of a mysterious haze, haven't you, Walter?
Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, I imagine you've had a lot of fun. You seem like the kind of fellow that gets a kind of an inside chuckle out of everything he does.
Indeed, I do.
You and John Gunter. Now, have you sold any of your work?
No, the main problem is getting into the shows. The juries seem to pick on the old and worn and haggard classics.
Why do you go in for these unusual, unlucrative occupations?
Because I like to, and I think every man should do what he likes to do.
Well, I admire you, Walter. You have a fine, homely philosophy. It's that kind of thinking that keeps the country jails full of customers. Well, it's certainly been abstract talking to you, Walter. And that goes for you, too, kid, huh?
Thanks.
I never thought when you first came out here and initially squinted at me that you were going to be quite so obscure. Well, now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. You know, all you have to do is run your 20 bucks into more than our other couples for a crack at the big question later. You selected cities with the same name. There are a number of important cities with the same name. Some are here in the United States and some abroad. Let's see if you can identify them. Here's your first question. Now, how much will you bet?
Let's bet all of it first.
All of it.
All of it? Birmingham is one of England's largest cities and also is one of our major industrial cities. In what state is our Birmingham?
Birmingham, Alabama.
That's right, yes. That's true.
You're on your way. You have $40.
You have $40. Now, how much of this sum will you bet on your second question?
Shall we bet all of it again? I think we ought to.
Okay. York, England is about 200 miles from London. Our city of York is 27 miles from Harrisburg. In what state is York?
Pennsylvania.
That's right.
You now have $80.
Now I have $80. How much are you going to bet?
Okay, we'll bet the works.
Okay. The city of Syracuse in Sicily has declined from former days of glory. This kind of a one-act play here. But our Syracuse is still on the way up with over 200,000 people. In what state is it located?
New York.
New York is right. Oh, another one?
They now have $160.
$160 is your last chance to beat the other couples. How much you going to bet?
Who cares?
Let's bet all of it again.
All of it. Cambridge is a famous university city in England. In what state is our Cambridge? It has over 100,000 people.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, that's right.
And you wind up with $320.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's why the great new 1954 DeSoto deserves the name Automatic. Why it's the only car on the American road that fully deserves that name. First of all, whether you're driving along the open road or parking in a tight spot, DeSoto full-time power steering does the work of steering and parking for you. And when you have to stop, DeSoto full power brakes do over half the work of braking for you. Then, too, DeSoto electric windshield wipers maintain constant speed windshield wiping. And if you desire, the 1954 DeSoto will raise and lower your windows, air condition itself, and do a score of other things for you automatically. But the biggest news of all this year is DeSoto PowerFlight fully automatic transmission, the newest and finest automatic transmission available. Just turn the key and you're ready to drive. Step on the gas pedal and you're away in a swelling surge of smooth power, never draggy or jerky.
Yes, friends, the 1954 DeSoto Automatic is a car designed and built to carry out your sudden orders quickly, quietly, safely at all speeds. Visit your neighborhood DeSoto Plymouth dealer soon. See the new DeSoto. And remember, DeSoto puts you ahead automatically.
Okay, George, who's next?
We have a teenager, Groucho, Miss Carol Sonia Tegner. Her partner's a special guest whom we invited because of his interesting occupation. He's Mr. Adam E. Jansen. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Mr. Adam Jansen and Miss Carol Sonia Tegner. Carol, since you're prettier than Mr. Jansen, this is without looking at Mr. Jansen, I'll start with you. How old are you?
16.
16. Do you go to school, Carol?
Yes, I do. I go to Hollywood High School, and I'll graduate this January.
Well, that's pretty early to be graduating from high school, 16, isn't it? You must be a real smart girl, in addition to being attractive.
Thank you.
Mr. Jansen, let's get on with you. You've been standing here with a vacant look in your eye. You're not Larry Jansen, the pitcher for DeRocher, are you?
No.
Where are you from, Mr. Jansen?
I was born in Minnesota.
Oh, you're not the Jansen from Jansen's Hofbrau in New York, huh?
I don't think so.
You're not the Jansen from I'm Jansen with tears in my eyes? Well, how about your first name? Is that Jansen, too?
No, my first name is Adam.
Adam. Adam, how do you account for that?
Well, I was christened Adam, but my friends call me Elmer.
They call you Elmer. You haven't got many friends. Don't you prefer Adam to Elmer?
I like Elmer.
That would sound pretty silly with Elmer and Eve. Huh? What sort of work do you do, Adam? Are you in the rib business?
No, I'm the chief of police of San Diego.
You're what?
I'm the chief of police of San Diego.
Why, Elmer, you lovable, forgiving old rascal. You are forgiving, aren't you?
Oh, sure.
San Diego, a lovely city. The flower of the South, San Diego. Wonderful town. How long has crime been running wild in San Diego? Or to put it another way, how long have you been police chief?
About 6 years.
Tell me, Chiefy, what are your duties as head of the police?
Well, that would be hard to answer in a few minutes.
Well, don't have to worry about an answer right now. Just be sure you have the right answers for the grand jury. Let's pick an average day, Elmer. How do you start out?
Well, when I arrive at the station in the morning, I'd first of all attempt to find out what has happened since I left the day before.
You mean you read the newspapers to see if you've been indicted? What do you mean? Don't you know what's happened?
Well, most of the time, but I like to find who is in jail and what crimes have been committed and how many traffic accidents have happened. And
then you go home and go to sleep again?
No.
Do you have any women policemen down there?
Well, we have some women who are not police women, but they're police matrons, about a dozen of them.
Mm-hmm. How they look?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Do these women take orders from you?
They do.
Mm-hmm. Do they obey these orders?
They sure do.
Elmer, you're not the chief, you're the super chief. Well, it's time to stop talking and get down to money matters, Chief. And Chief Jansen, I was only kidding you. You know that, don't you? Don't pay any attention to me. Especially if I come to San Diego. Now then, let's play You Bet Your Life, huh? All you do is run your $20 into more than our other couples, and you'll get a crack at the big bundle later.
In the race for the $1,000, the first couple won $320, and the secret word is water.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected our feathered friends. Fine thing for a cop. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? You have $20.
All of it.
What do you call the comical-looking birds that inhabit the Antarctic regions? They can swim but can't fly.
Penguins.
Penguins is right. You have $40. How much of your $40 are you going to risk this time?
All of it.
What do you call the seabird that is regarded with superstition by some sailors? The rhyme of the ancient mariner told about one of these birds.
The albatross.
Albatross is right, eh? You have $80. How much you going to try?
The works.
The works, she said.
What do you call the aquatic birds that live near the seashore? They have a large bill with a pouch underneath.
Pelicans.
That's right. His bill holds more than his belly.
You now have $160.
Here's your last chance to be the other couples. How much of the 160 are you going to go for?
The works.
What do you call the long-necked pink water birds that are found in warm climates? Talk it over now.
Flamingos.
That is right.
You wind up with $320.
Thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. George, who's next?
We have a girl who works in a bank, Groucho. She's Miss Suzanne Glenn, and her partner is Mr. Peter DiPaolo. So, folks, would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Susan Glenn and Mr. Peter DiPaolo, eh? Is that right?
Right, Groucho.
Say, Peter DiPaolo, that's a very famous name. Aren't you the first man ever to go over Niagara Falls in a pickle barrel?
No, Groucho, I drove racing cars.
Oh, that's right. You were a great champion. You were the hero of every kid in our block. I couldn't read the newspaper accounts, but the other kids used to tell me about you. I was only 48 at the time. I'll get back to you, champ, in a minute. Just stand there a while and idle your motor. Suzanne, I'd like to get better acquainted with you. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Hollywood, California, Groucho.
Oh. How old are you?
23.
23. Mm-hmm. And where do you work?
Bank of America, South Pasadena.
They have a bank out there?
Yes, they do.
Do you observe banker's hours at this bank?
Yes, we do. They're from 8 in the morning until 5 at night.
Uh-huh. Does everybody go home at 5?
Yes, they do.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to know. Tomorrow night, I may make a sizable withdrawal around 10 at night. Mr. DiPaolo, I know you were a champion race driver. What were some of the titles that you achieved during your career?
Well, I'd say the most standing was winning the famous Indianapolis 500-mile race, and then becoming the National AA champion in 25 and 1927.
And what was your average time in the Indianapolis race?
In 1925, I averaged 101 mile per hour.
And what do they average now?
128.
There's a lot of money in racing in those days, huh?
Yes, there was. In 25, I was lucky enough to win $168,000. And I thought it was terrible that I had to pay some $5,200 tax. Now, today, I'd keep the $5,200 and send the rest to Washington. A little different.
How'd you get started in the racing business? Was it always your ambition to be a race driver?
No, I wanted to go to college. When I was a young kid, at the time I had the idea of going to college, my father had a sign over the kitchen door written in Italian, and it read, "Chi non lavora non mangi."
What does that mean? Don't drop your keys in the wash basin?
That means who no work and no eat. And like all Latins, I love to eat, so I went to work.
Well, my father was like that, only he was more of a plain-spoken man. He just dumped me out of bed and hollered, "Go find a job, you bum." Didn't your folks object when you started to take up automobile racing as a career?
Well, they did, but as I progressed and became successful, they were very happy. As a matter of fact, after each race, I'd go home, and dear mother would have her one request, that I'd go to Newark a la Marquette. We go down to the public market. She wanted to show me off. We go along arm in arm, and she'd say, "Hello, Mrs. Pepleroy. It's a pity, champion for the race. You come from California."
Well, your folks sound like wonderful people, Pete. Not only that, but you sound just like my brother Chico, huh?
Well, they were wonderful people.
That's
Groucho.
2 strikes against you in the quiz, you realize. Tell us some more about your family, Pete.
Well, there are many things that I could relate, Groucho, but I remember very distinctly during World War I, Brother Johnny and I were in the Air Corps. Brother Johnny was a flyer, and I was an airplane mechanic. And on this one visit at home during our leave, Johnny went on telling about flying, which got Mother all excited, naturally, and like all people in those days, they thought if anybody fly an airplane, they'd get killed, for sure. So dear old Mother, as Johnny, myself were leaving home, she embraced Johnny with that love and affection which only a mother can express.
Yeah.
And in her soft Latin voice, she says, Johnny boy, when you fly low and slow. And then I remember, too, months later, after that, poor Johnny had quite a misfortune. He'd wrecked down in the Everglades in Florida, and he came home with his arm bandaged up and his nose mashed over. And he says, Mama, I fly too low, I hit a house. But we used to have many wonderful visits at home. Wonderful people.
How do you feel about driving on Wilshire Boulevard, don't you?
Scared to death.
So, Pete, you're an expert on automobiles. What do you think of today's cars?
Well, I think people are getting more value for their money than ever before in the history of automobiles.
You hear that? What, are you referring to any particular car?
Well, tonight it's a DeSoto.
It's a nice... I suppose the next week, if you were on it for a locomobile, you say it's about a locomobile, huh?
I'm glad you mentioned locomobile. She's a no more. She's a die.
She's a no more. That is why I mentioned a locomobile. Well, enough of this chatter. Let's get on with the important business. You know what that is. You're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance to win some money. You run your $20 no more than the other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big money.
In the race for the $1,000, the first and second couples are tied with $320 each.
Well, here we go. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected personalities of the 20s as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
How much can we bet?
You have $20.
20, bet it.
All the way.
20. Oh, sure. During the early 20s, the famous author of the Sherlock Holmes stories toured the United States. What was his name?
Was it Holmes? Oliver Wendell Holmes?
Sherlock Holmes. Those were the
Sherlock
stories.
Holmes.
I want you to tell me the name of the author who toured the United States. Oh, that's a shame. You got cleaned out in the first question. Well, the answer is Sir Conan Doyle. Very famous
Wouldn't have
author.
guessed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I give you one question anyhow, so you split $25. We don't like anybody to leave here flat broke. Why did you pick that category?
Well, we thought we had it in the bag, but...
Now, what color do you associate with turnip greens?
Green.
Green is absolutely right. Well, thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers.
And that means that the San Diego chief of police and his partner and the beachcomber and his partner, with both of them with $320 in just 1 minute, get the chance of the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
Hello there. This is Arlene Francis here to tell you about something new and wonderful. The new 1954 DeSoto Automatic. This year, the stunning new DeSoto features Power Flight transmission, the world's newest and best fully automatic transmission. Power Flight automatically adjusts to fit your driving needs, and instantly you're driving at the exact speed you choose. With the magnificent instant response of Power Flight transmission, the tremendous power of the DeSoto Fire Dome engine, now 170 horsepower, and the wonderful assurance of DeSoto full power steering and DeSoto power brakes, all driving becomes pleasure driving. And when it comes to magnificent new styling, here too the dramatic 1954 DeSoto will set the pace for years to come. Even at rest, the new 1954 DeSoto has an air of impressive power and ability to eat up the miles. Tomorrow, go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Step inside this new 1954 DeSoto automatic. Go for a thrilling ride in one. Once you've driven this new DeSoto, I think you'll agree, the 1954 DeSoto puts you ahead automatically.
Well, Groucho, here are the two couples tied for the chance at the big question. Each couple will decide on a single answer between them and write it down on one of the cards we've given them. And if both couples get it right, they'll split the money between them. Okay?
All right, please, now help in the audience now. A New Englander named Clarence E. Mulford, M-U-L-F-O-R-D, has written many successful stories about the West. For $1,000, I want you to tell me the name of the most famous character created by Clarence E. Mulford. Write it down. No, I'm sorry. This couple over here, it's Hopalong Cassidy.
Oh,
You said it right.
Well, the beachcomber and the girl from the National Bureau of Standards, they split $1,000 between them, and $320.
Right, $320.
That makes $1,320. Well, congratulations. What are you going to do with all that money?
I'm going to be a beachcomber starting tomorrow.
Well, I admire you. You have a wonderful solution for life. And what are you going to do with yours?
I think maybe I'll ask my parents if they'd like to come out and visit me in California.
Well, that's couldn't have spend the money in a nicer way. Huh? Well, congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't forget Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. Remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth, two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Good brakes stop many accidents before they get started. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey, where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
I'd rather have a Raleigh.
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 Because Raleigh is the only cigarette that gives you all three. From Hollywood.
Hollywood, the Raleigh Cigarette Program, starring Red Skelton with David Forrester and his orchestra, Gigi Pearson, Verna Felton, our singing star, Anita Ellis, Pat McGee, and our guest, Wonderful Smith, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. It's a pleasure to bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's popular comedian and the star of the Raleigh Cigarette Program, Red Skelton.
Thank you very much. Thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Red.
Happy New Year to you, too.
And Happy New Year to you.
Well, Happy New Year to you. Well, we've kicked that around enough for this year.
Well, how'd you bring the New Year in?
I had nothing to do with it. I woke up this morning and there it was.
You know, well, during the last year, a lot of waters passed over the dam.
Yeah, in sunny California, too. A lot of people got soaked, you know.
Well, it was really an eventful 365 days, you know. The war ended. A lot of the boys came back from overseas.
Yeah.
Rationing was stopped.
Dick Tracy went on a diet.
Well, I wonder what the New Year has in store for us.
Butter, I hope.
Say, did you hear the Oklahoma St. Mary's game today, Red?
Yes, and it was really exciting. I was sitting in front of my radio, and I could just picture Bing Crosby Bing Crosby and Ingrid Bergman sitting on the 50-yard line, ringing their bells for the home team.
Wasn't Hollywood Boulevard crowded?
Yeah, last night, you mean, say. The old street was creeping.
Yeah, the New Year's festivities were really rollicking.
Yeah, you said it. People were climbing up those Christmas trees like monkeys. They had to give me a banana before I'd come down. 4 guys got arrested for jay-staggering last night. Oh, hey, there was one fellow walked into a place, and he says to the bartender, a Marine, he said, "Here, I got a present for you." He said, "I got a present for you." A live lobster, here.
A live lobster?
So the bartender says, "Well, thanks a lot." He says, "I'll take it home to eat." The guy says, "Oh, don't do that. Take him to a movie. He's already eaten."
I'll say, Red, did you make any resolutions for
That's
1946?
a good joke. Too bad it wasn't in the script, wasn't it?
Did you make any resolutions for 1946?
Yeah, I got a couple I'll sell you. I won't be able to keep them. Well, Happy New Year to you, Anita.
Oh, the same to you, Red.
Say, tell me, how did you see the New Year in?
Oh, I spent the evening with my mother.
Oh. No other girl can make that statement. That is still breathing.
Oh, but I enjoyed it, Red. We listened to the radio and really had a wonderful time.
Really?
There was only one thing wrong.
What?
Just as I got to bed about 12:30, some crazy fellow started pounding at my door. Why, I could have killed him.
Gee, that's awful.
What did you do?
I nearly got killed. Say, did you make any New Year's resolutions, Rod?
Oh, I certainly did. You know, I resolved to be more helpful to people.
Oh, well, you know, sort of a two-ton Mr. Anthony, huh? Well, look, I've got a problem. You are a happy little blimp at that. I can't find an apartment, Mr. O'Connor, and I'm sick of living in that tool chest with the built-in bird bath. Do you think you can find me something?
Well, I can't do anything about the housing shortage, Red.
No?
But when it comes to brand new cars, that's different.
What?
You know, friends, the makers of Raleigh cigarettes are giving brand new cars away every day.
No kidding.
Yes, each and every day, someone wins a Chevrolet. That's 7 winners, 7 cars given away every week. You can win one just as easily as the winner I'll announce in a few seconds. This is all you have to do.
Complete this sentence in 25 words or less. We should all buy victory bonds because. Got it? We should all buy victory bonds because. Send your entries to Raleigh Cigarettes, Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleigh cigarettes.
Now, don't put it off. Write your prize-winning sentence and mail it tonight. Win yourself a brand new car just as this winter of December 28th.
The winner of December the 28th was my cousin Joe. And will he be surprised? He didn't even send in an entry. Now, I'm kidding. The real winner was Carl Bergstrom, Jr. of Superior, Wisconsin, and congratulations, Mr. Bergstrom.
More winners announced on this program tonight.
And remember, smokers, Raleighs are the only cigarettes that give you all three. Throat protection, better taste, lasting freshness.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now it's time for Anita Ellis to answer a musical question. How deep is the ocean?
How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? How many times a day do I think of you? How many roses are sprinkled with dew? How far would I travel just to be where you are? How far is the journey from here to a star? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? The strength of my love for you is more than a heart can hold. How deep is the ocean?
Thank you very much. The first story we read this year from our Skelton Scrapbook of Satire is entitled Bells and Resolutions. Our characters are fictional. If you think there's any similarity to persons living, don't you believe it. Chapter 33 is entitled The Bells of Big Fork, Montana. Once upon a time, there lived a fearless cowboy named Deadeye, and every year he would ride into town to help with the New Year's celebration, a week in advance, the Flathead County.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh, come on, horse! Whoa!
That horse spends every nickel he gets on them jute boxes. Think I'll go into Big Jim Brown's bar here. Howdy, folks. Hey, piano player, how about playing my favorite tune? No, not that one, the other one. That's it. Symphony. I love that. Oh, there's my gal, Margie the Clipper. It's been so long since I've seen a woman, I don't know whether you hug 'em before you say howdy or after.
Howdy, Deadeye.
I guess it's after. Happy New Year, gal. Gosh, you look sweet enough to kiss.
Yeah, and you look dumb enough to try it.
Yeah. Same old gal.
Yeah, and you're the same old Deadeye. Still bow-legged.
Oh, I ain't so bow-legged.
Well, then put your knees together.
Well, look at that. 4 feet taller.
new, Deadeye? What's this I heard about you having a pistol duel with a horse thief? Thought you were going to reform. I thought you resolved in 1945 to get a steady job and take home an honest man's living.
I did. You show me where the honest man hides it, and I'll take it home in 1946.
Did you fight this guy in honest duel?
Yeah, even let him shoot first. Then I stepped from behind the tree and plugged him. It was fair and square. I got a fair deal, and he got a square box.
Well, are you going to bring in the new year with the honest, law-abiding citizens of this town?
Yeah, by the way, how many good law-abiding citizens are there in this town now?
I don't know.
Let's go over to the cemetery and count them, huh?
Hey, any of you hombres want to make $1,000?
$1,000?
Sounds like somebody pretty desperate for a pound of butter, don't it?
4 days to New Year's Eve, and I'll pay $1,000 to anyone who rides to the top of McGregor Mountain and ring that bell in the old Mission Tower at midnight.
You got your man there, stranger. I'm the best cowboy in the West. Of course, I don't have a pretty English accent like Errol Flynn. But I am brave, you know.
You ring that bell, and $1,000 is yours.
Okay.
Deadeye, are you nuts? The Blackfoot Indians say that bell is bad luck to anyone who goes near it.
Yeah, that's why I'm hiring somebody that don't know about the so-called superstition of that bell and let him ring it.
Gosh, Deadeye, you think of everything, don't you?
Nope, just them pictures and Esquire. Who just came in over there?
Howdy, neighbors.
Howdy. Stranger around here?
Yep, I'm from Texas.
Panhandle?
Only when I can't find work.
Say, nice gear you're wearing there. Them boots, they genuine cowhide?
They sure is. I'll prove it. I'll rub them together.
Grade A, too, ain't it? Say, how would you like a job around here bringing in the new year? We need someone to ring a bell.
How much do you pay?
I'll pay what I feel like. What do you want?
I want you to feel good. Shall I say $20?
If you want to, go ahead. Say $20. I'm going to say 10.
Okay, it's a deal. That sounds like a better deal. Then if you don't pay me, you don't owe me so much.
Yeah. Well, shall we get going? The horses are outside.
Okay. I saw your horse. He looks just like that Lone Ranger's horse, Silver.
No, this is his brother, Stainless Steel. Well, we're off to ring the big bell. So long, gal.
So long, Deadeye.
Say, Deadeye, where is this bell? We've been climbing for 3 days, and I'm mighty hungry. Why, I'm so skinny now, I'm holding my pants up with my teeth, and it ain't easy.
How come?
No teeth.
Well, why don't you forget about food? Think about something else. Think about women.
I'd rather think about food.
Instead of women?
Yep.
Boy, I hope I never get that hungry. There it is, the big bell in the Robbins old mission there. Look how big that thing is. Kind of cold here. We still got 5 minutes before 1946.
Hey, Deadeye, what's that big black thing walking around the front door there? It looks like a bear.
A bear? Don't be silly. You're just so hungry you think you see food. That's a mirage.
It looks like a bear.
It's a mirage. Of course, some mirages are noisier than others. Look, you go over and make friends with that bear, and I'll go up and ring the bell.
Who, me?
That's who I'm looking at. Look, that bear is just as scared of you as you are of him.
I don't see no goose pimples on him.
Now, look, go on over there. If you were to go over there real fast, that bear would run.
Yeah, home and tell the other bears what he's found for dinner.
Look, I'll tell you what, he's getting pretty close to it. You go ring the bell, and I'll take care of the bear. That's funny. I'm going forward, but my feet are going backward. All right, bear, now, none of that stuff. Just come a little closer. Just come a little closer. Well, that was a little too close.
Did he get you?
No, but help me get my pants out of his teeth, will you? I'll fix him. This 45 will make him lay down and take notice. There now. There now. See, all right, I'll lay down, Bear, but give me my gun back.
you. Hey, Deadeye.
Yeah?
I'm up to the bell, and it's midnight.
Hey, we're going to get that $1,000. Go ahead, ring it. Hot dog, we've got it.
Look out for the bell.
Now, look, Bear, I've had enough out of you. I'm going to open your mouth and break your jaws with my bare hands. Oh, well, I can always count that money with my toes.
Say, Red, let's start the new year off right for someone by giving them a swell prize.
Okay, Mrs. Lou Buttons, you win a Van Johnson.
No, Red. No? We're going to announce another winner in Raleigh's Car Day contest. You know, friends, each and every day someone wins a brand new car. Every day, mind you, 7 cars each week. To date, 50 cars have already been given away by the makers of Raleigh cigarettes. And one of these might just as well be yours. They're new 1946 Chevrolets, and they're so easy to win. This is all you have to do.
Complete this sentence in 25 additional words or less. We should all buy victory bonds because. Send your entries to Raleigh Cigarettes, Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleigh cigarettes.
Enter again and again because winners are chosen from entries received each day. Yes, each day a new winner.
Entries are judged on uniqueness, originality, and most convincing statement. Judge's decision final. Duplicate prizes in case of ties. Entries become property of Raleigh Cigarettes. Contest limited to United States and members of the armed forces abroad.
Send in your prize-winning sentence tonight and win yourself a new car, just as this winner of December 29th.
A new Chevrolet goes to Dan Benson of Salt Lake City, Utah. Congratulations, Mr. Benson.
More winners announced tomorrow night in the Raleigh Room, starring Hildegard. Be sure to listen.
Thank you. And now back to Forever '02. Chapter 35 of the Skelton Scrapbook. As we turn the page, we find a clipping from Believe It or Not. It says, David Forrester is the only musician in the world whose orchestra is composed of 32 relatives. Tonight, the old Forrester family will stagger through the Camptown races. Thank you. You have a few relatives in the audience, too, tonight, I see. Chapter 36 in the scrapbook is entitled Resolutions. Starting the new year right is a feat for some people, but wrong or right, Junior shows Granny that he is still the mean little kid. In the bathtub, singing in the bathtub. I'm singing in the shower.
Junior! Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in here taking a shower. Rubbing me little toe.
That's a good boy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
And the same to you, Grandma. Come in.
Oh, no, dear. Granny'll stay out here while you're taking your shower.
No, come on. It's all right. Come on in. I got me clothes on.
What? Junior. Oh, dear, and I thought 1946 would be different.
In the shower.
Look at you. You're soaking wet.
I am messing her.
When you take a shower, you're supposed to take your clothes off.
Now she tells me.
Did you wash your face good?
Yes, I did.
What's all that dirt behind your ears?
That's where I wash it to.
Junior, do you know what day this is?
Certainly I does. I wasn't born yesterday, you know.
Well, what day is it?
Well, let's see. 30 days has September, and Uncle George for driving while he was...
Junior! I asked you what day this is.
Does you know?
Certainly.
Then why should we both waste each other's time discussing something we both know? Boy, women are so exasperating sometimes.
Junior.
Exasperating.
Junior.
I'd like to look that word up someday.
Yes, you should. This is the first day of the new year.
Yes? And it should be full of new possibilities, you know.
I hope that you've made a resolution to do bigger and better things
Yes,
this year.
I had. Yes, I had. If my resolutions work out like I had them planned, this year the fire department should be pretty busy.
What do you mean?
You'll hear about it later. I had been reading up on the atomic bomb. Not only will you hear about it, the whole town will hear about it. Part of me here, part of me there, part of me there. That will be Junior all over there.
Junior, you're only kidding.
You just keep laughing, kiddo, that's all.
Do you realize what New Year's Day means?
Yes, I does. It means that Grandpa won't be able to get out of bed for 2 days, don't it?
That's enough.
Now, don't you hit me.
Now if you'll hurry and change your clothes, we'll go say Happy New Year to Jim the Harkin.
Oh, Jim. Oh, boy, it sure is crowded today, ain't it?
Now, hold on to my hand crossing the street.
I will not do this. I will not. I is a big boy now. I is a year older now.
All right, well then, darling, why don't you make a new resolution in 1946 to help other people?
Oh.
Won't you take poor old Grandma's hand and help Grandma cross the street?
Okay, I will do this. Here. Now, hold tight, Grandma. Don't get hurt, you know.
Well, now that I have a good hold on your mitten, Junior, I might as well tell you that I was just using child psychology on you.
Oh, really? Well, now that you got a good hold on me mitten, Grandma, I may as well tell you that me hand ain't in it. He's got a nice house here, isn't he?
Oh, I hope Jim's home.
Jim? Who's this Jim you talk about? Or...
This gentleman is a very dear friend of mine, Junior.
Oh.
If I'd met him before I'd married your grandfather, well, sometimes I wonder.
No, now that's not right, because if you hadn't married Grandpa, then you would never met Mummy. And if without Mummy, you wouldn't have me.
All right, so I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year, Verna.
Look at that old
My, you look younger every day.
Yeah, you know, Benjamin Franklin used to tell her the same thing, you know.
Verna, you don't look a day over 40.
Really?
No, I'm wrong. You don't look a day over 35.
How wrong can you be around here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Happy New Year to you,
Ah,
too.
shut up.
Junior.
Won't you come in? My Junior, you must be a lot of good company for your grandmother.
Trusting old soul, ain't you? You've got a nice house here, you know.
Thank you. Verna, remember the first New Year's we met?
Yes, you gave me a lift on a bicycle.
A bicycle built for two, I hope.
Well, no.
Well, let's not get sickening about it.
Junior. Jim, you must come over to dinner sometime.
Oh, thank you.
Does you like turkey, Jim?
Yes,
Well,
I
bring
do.
one over. We cook it.
Junior!
By the way, where is your husband?
He's home sleeping in office.
Junior, at times I can't figure you out.
Well, stick around, kiddo. You will. Get over that. Oh, look, you got a kitty cat, ain't you?
No, don't get rough with the kitty.
Look at him.
Don't get rough with him. He might scratch you and get blood poisoning.
Yes, he... Boy, they sure does love me, don't they, huh? Boy, ain't you a dandy cat. Look how fuzzy you is, boy. I'm going to take you home with me, boy. Here, come up and look. Here. Boy, he's fast. Where'd he go? He jumped right out my arm. There. Oh, there he is up on that shelf. I will climb up there and get him. Come on, cat. Clumsy cat. It was the cat's fault he had on his overshoes.
Good heavens! What happened in here?
Junior, what on earth are you doing?
There won't be no inflation now because everything's come down.
Junior, for that you have to be punished.
I know. I was bad, so you go ahead and spank me. Go ahead. Run your beautiful hands, but spank me. Go ahead.
I don't have beautiful hands.
Yes, you does. They're so soft, so smooth, so Jergens-like, you know. But go ahead.
Well, run along.
She's really got these pan hands, but I got my spinal column to worry about. Now, where'd that cat go? Oh, there's a big box with a lid on it. I'll put him in there, then I know where he is when I'm ready to take him home. Where'd he go? There he is. Now, come on. Now I got you. In the box you go. Here, let go of my nose. Stop. Wait, not there. Grandma, let me out of this box, will you?
On every Tuesday night at the same time. Red Skelton, David Forrester and his orchestra, Anita Ellis, Verna Felton, Gigi Pearson, Pat McGee, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. Until next Tuesday, then.
This is Red Skelton saying goodbye now. Thanks for listening. And remember, the boy's still overseas. Right.
And remember, listen to Hildegard tomorrow night and to People Are Funny with Art Linkletter Friday night over most of these stations. Red Skelton is heard in this program through the courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer.
Sir Walter Raleigh. That's the tobacco that leaves your pipe as clean as a whistle. It's carefully blended from rich, ripe burleys and mellowed with just a touch of rum to enhance the natural, full-bodied flavor. Get Sir Walter Raleigh, the quality pipe tobacco of America.
Red Skelton is brought to you by the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time from Hollywood, California, Kraft presents Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve. Written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, is your family the hard-working, hard-playing kind? Of course, most of us are these days. Increased effort is expected of every one of us. And that's why plenty of wholesome, nourishing, energy food is so vitally important. The kind of food that replaces the energy we use up every day. Well, one of the best energy foods you can serve is delicious Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Yes, Parquet margarine is an economical source of nourishment and energy your whole family needs. You'll be glad to know, too, that every pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. What's more, Parquet margarine is so downright good tasting, your family will eat all they need. Yes, Parquet margarine's delicate, satisfying flavor is sure to make a hit, whether you serve it at the table or use it for baking and pan frying. So why not give your family the benefits of this delicious, nourishing food and start serving them Parquet margarine tomorrow? Yes, when you order, ask your dealer for Parquet. Parkay. And now let's visit our friend, the great Gildersleeve.
Stuff of yours in the attic?
In the attic, yes. What about it, Leroy?
Well, look what I found up there. An old family album.
Album? Oh, is that so? Any pictures of me in it?
Ah, there. You're number one of the Puss Parade.
Yeah.
Leroy. May I look at it, Uncle?
Sure, Marjorie. Go ahead if you want to.
Thanks. Oh, look at this one. Oh, what a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
Say, who is she?
Well, if you must know, she's me.
You mean you didn't always have that mustache?
Well, not as a little shaver. Turn the page, Marjorie. Huh? Oop. Forgot about that one in the little Lord Fauntleroy outfit. Wish I had those beautiful curls today.
For corn's sake, look at the lace on your pants.
Leroy, at that age, did I know what I was doing?
Oh, Uncle. Look, here's one where you're a little older.
Huh?
With two pretty little rabbits.
Oh, yes, my rabbits. Those were my pets. I called them Flopsy and Mopsy. I intended to raise them and make enough money to pay my way through college.
What happened, Uncle Mort?
Nothing. I paid $2 for those rabbits.
What was the matter?
That was it, $2.
Say, Unc, are these your first long pants you're wearing in this picture?
Yes, tight, weren't they? When people saw me wearing them, they just split.
Who, the people or the pants?
Yeah. First the pants, then the people.
Here's a picture taken not so long ago.
Well,
how can you tell? Well, Uncle Mort is almost as fat as he is now. Leroy, the bathing suit he's wearing.
Yes. That suit was all wool and a yard wide.
What's that thing you're eating, Unc?
Let me see. Eating? Oh, I wasn't eating anything. I was just blowing up my water wings. Say, I feel kind of chilly. Bertie, shut the front door.
I can't. It's stuck.
Oh, probably the change in the weather. I'll take care of it, children. Yeah. Now, what's the trouble, Bertie? No wonder that door is stuck. There's a man's foot caught inside.
I knows that, and he refuses to take it out.
Oh, well, let him in. He's probably a visitor.
It ain't no visitor. It's a salesman.
Salesman? How do you know?
'Cause the hot air's coming from the outside inside.
Oh.
Mister, get your foot out this door, 'cause we ain't in the market for nothing.
Yeah. Well, let me handle him now, Bertie. I'll brush him off quickly.
Now, don't you go buying any foolish, worthless stuff like you did last time.
Huh?
That perfume was nothing but water.
Well, how did you know, Bertie? Did you open the bottle?
No, sir. But the salesman come round to the back, and I bought some myself.
Yeah. Well, you run along back to the kitchen. I'll get rid of this chap.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ah, good afternoon, sir. My company is introducing a new cigar.
I don't want it.
And I'm giving out a few boxes to discriminating judges of tobacco as free samples.
I said Oh, free? Oh. Well, let's step in out of the cold, sir.
Oh.
Here, let me help you with those big, heavy boxes.
Thank you.
You're such a little fellow. Yeah. I was always considered quite an authority on good cigars. What's the name of this new brand?
Mister, these are the genuine made in Havana, aged in the wood, soaked in the New England maple syrup La Rumba Panatella cigars. Once you get the La Rumba habit, you can't shake it.
Yeah. Well, they certainly sound good.
Oh, and they smell good, too. Now, just sample the delicious aroma. Go ahead. Let your nose run riot.
Oh, let me see.
Clears the head, doesn't it?
Practically clears the room. I'm afraid these are rather strong for me, young man.
Yeah, and after you've smoked a few, you'll be strong for them.
I'll have to be.
Now, in consideration for advertising these wonderful cigars among your friends, we make absolutely no charge for them.
Oh, you don't? Well, with Christmas coming on and everything, I think I could manage to get rid of 5 or 10 boxes for you.
Oh, splendid. I might add that while we make absolutely no charge for the cigars themselves, we ask you to pay for cellophane, band, and the box. That's only to be expected, of course.
Oh. Yeah. What does that amount to?
Oh, I hate to even mention it.
So do I, but go ahead.
Well, let me see. 4 and 2
4 and
plus
2.
8 and 6 and 7. Well, that comes to a total of $1.98 per box.
$1.98? Well, is that all?
Oh, gosh, I forgot taxes. What's the matter with me?
Shall I tell you?
But you wouldn't expect us to lose money, now, would you?
Oh, no. I'd hate myself if you lost money. How much are the taxes?
Only 50 cents a box. Now, are you taking 5 or 10 boxes?
Well, come to think of it, I don't know an awful lot of people here in Summerfield. Hardly more than a box full.
Well, now, our company doesn't think it's worthwhile to send me all the way out here on a cold afternoon for just one box, mister. I'm afraid that the least they'll let me give away free to you is 4 boxes.
No, thanks. Maybe I'll take more the next time you come around.
Mister, with these cigars, there won't be no next time around.
Well, for the most I could accept is 2 boxes.
Well, I can't force you to take more. All right, here's your 2 free boxes. Now, that'll be $4.96.
$1.98 plus 2 boxes. $4.96. Yes, you're right. I was always good on arithmetic. You're very generous, really. Here's a $5 bill.
Oh, thank you. Now, wait just a second. You've got some change coming.
Oh, yes.
4 cents.
4 cents.
Yes. Plenty of lots of silver here, but no pennies.
Oh, that's all right. You can forget it.
Oh, no. I'll get it for you somehow. Oh, here we are.
Yes. What's this?
Your change. A 1 cent stamp and 3 sticks of chewing gum. Goodbye.
Oh!
Okay to come on in the living room, Piggy. We got the whole house to ourselves.
Say, is there any more candy around?
Nope. We ate all the cookies, too.
Too bad. Nothing sweet left, huh?
Nothing unless you want to try these new cigars from my uncle's. They're soaked in maple syrup.
You mean these?
Yeah.
Let's see them. Lamba Panatellas.
Say, I wouldn't open that box if I were you.
Oh, it was open already. See? Some have been taken out. I bet no one would miss this one.
Hey, what are you thinking of doing? Smoking it?
Maybe. What if I am?
Oh, I bet you wouldn't dare.
Is that so? Bet you I would, too. Only it's so long. I bet you'd be scared to go halvers with me.
Who, me? Smoke a cigar?
I knew you'd go chicken.
I won't either. I ain't afraid of doing anything you ain't afraid of doing, I ain't.
All right, let you smoke it then.
All right, give it here.
Here. Bet you don't even know which end to put in your mouth.
I do, too. Only I forgot. Which end is it?
The one you don't like. My pa always bites off one end first.
Like this?
Uh-huh.
What does he do with the end he bites off?
I don't know. Swallows it, I guess.
Boy, he does?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Ooh, phew, it tastes terrible.
Want me to light it for you?
Sure, I guess so. No fun smoking an unlit cigar, is there?
Nope. Hold still and puff. No, puff in, not out.
Oh.
That's better. How's it taste?
Well, it's pretty hard to describe. Here, you try it a while and find out for yourself. Look,
I can exhale every puff.
Well, don't hog it all day. It's my turn again.
Wait till I try blowing smoke through my nose. Okay, you can have it now.
Gee, you got it all unwrapped.
I'm sorry. You want me to tie a piece of string around the outside cover? Or a rubber band?
No, I think it'll be all right. Now watch me.
What's that supposed to be?
I'm blowing smoke rings.
You ain't either. Them's clouds. Heck, I can do better than that.
Okay, here, you take it.
Oh, no, I didn't mean for you to do that. You can keep it as long as you want to.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not selfish.
Well, all right. How's this? You better puff on it, wild pig. Smoke gets in my eyes.
Well, okay. It sure is a strong cigar, ain't it?
Yeah, strongest I ever smoked.
What's the matter, Leroy? Don't you feel well?
Well, there's been times when I felt better.
Here, ready for another drag?
No, not just yet. I think I better sit down for a while.
You mean you're dizzy?
Yeah.
Well, sitting down won't help. I know, I'm sitting, and I'm dizzy, too.
I wonder what's wrong with us.
I haven't any idea.
Do you think it... Say, pig, sit still, will you?
I ain't moving, except my head seems to be going around.
Gee, that's funny. You got two heads. And they're both kind of green.
Two heads, huh? Well, that accounts for it, then.
Counts for what?
I can see 2 whole rooms. You know, I don't think I feel so good.
Do you think it could possibly be the cigar?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Here, Leroy, you can have it.
No, you go ahead and keep it. There's lots more where that one came from.
Oh, my goodness. Now my stomach's starting to go around, too.
Yeah, I know just how you feel.
If it's all right with you, Leroy, I think I'll go now.
You're not mad or anything?
Oh, no. If you want any more of the cigar, it's right here on the fern stand.
Gee, don't hurry off.
I better go or you might be sorry I stayed.
Oh, gee whiz. No, I'm beginning to see what you mean. I better get some fresh air, too. Hey, Piggy, wait for me.
No, I feel more wowsy than woozy. How about you, Leroy?
Oh, I'm all right, except for my head, which is awful light, and my feet, which are awful heavy, and my stomach, which is awful.
Awful what?
That's all, just awful.
Gee, I don't think I've got a stomach anymore.
Boy, are you lucky.
Take it easy. Just close your eyes.
No. Every time I close my eyes, tapioca keeps floating in front of me. Tapioca with me on life.
Do you think we should get up and walk around a while?
No. Let's stay here in the garage until it stops going around. Darn the guy who invented cigars anyhow.
Who was he?
I don't know. Some Indian named Corona, I think. I can't see how Uncle Mort can keep smoking them all day long without falling over. Imagine going around like this all the time.
Gee, I just thought of something. Do you think we're going to stop growing now?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. We should have thought of that before.
But suppose we do. How am I going to play football in college? I just weigh 97 pounds.
Are you sure that one cigar will stop you from growing?
Since I started smoking, I ain't been sure of anything. I'm awful glad I stopped.
Me too. Why, I wouldn't ever smoke another cigar. Oh, it makes me sick even to mention cigars.
Gee whiz.
What is it now?
What's going to happen when your folks come back and find the living room full of smoke?
Jeepers. Uncle Mort will send me to Alcatraz. We We better sneak back and open all the windows so the place can air out.
Not me. I'm going home just as soon as my legs will cooperate with each other.
Piggy, you can't run out on me now.
Not now, but just as soon as I can stand up, I will.
But how can you? I didn't want to smoke a cigar. It was you. Hey, that sounded like Bertie. Come on. Look, smoke's coming out of the living room.
Gee, it's lucky we got out.
There's a fire.
Good. Now nobody will notice the cigar smoke.
Cigar smoke. That's it. Piggy, where'd you throw that cigar we were smoking?
In the fern stand. Why?
I bet that's what started the fire. Come on, get some water. We're coming, Bertie. Oh, there's the garden hose. Piggy, run and turn the water on. Here I come, Bertie. Put out the fire. Put out the fire. I will if you get away from the window. I want to climb in. What'd you say? Get away from the... Get that out. I'm not on fire. Sorry. I warned you.
Leroy, what you doing?
Climbing in the window to water the fern. Say, this is only making the smoke worse.
Well, keep it up, Leroy. You putting it out.
Oh, that smoke. Just as I was getting over the last smoke hill.
That does it. Now the fire's out.
Turn off the water, Piggy.
Yeah. Turn off the water out there, boy.
Oh, I don't feel so good.
Leroy, you's a hero. Leroy! Turn on the water again, boy. Leroy's done fainted.
Well, Marjorie, are you sure we've ordered all the candy we need for Christmas?
Oh, yes, Uncle Mort. My, you've been buying like Santa Claus with a sweet tooth.
Well, why not? No matter how many Thanksgivings we have, Christmas comes once a year.
Well, let's run along home now, Uncle.
All right, my dear. Say, let's get something for Leroy to have this afternoon. I see just the thing he's going to enjoy.
You do? What is it?
Oh, something that every boy likes. Wait till you see Leroy's face when he opens these chocolate cigars.
See what I tell you, Bertie? He's opening his eyes.
Yeah, but it don't look like he's seeing anything. Leroy, honey, is you all right?
Oh, me? Oh, yes, I'm all right.
And you just lay there on the sofa whilst I try to clean up this mess in the living room. I can't figure out for the life of me how that fire started.
Hey, Piggy.
Yeah?
Gee, what are we going to say when Uncle Mort comes home and asks us how the fire started?
Well, we could say it was a spark from the fireplace, if there was a fire in the fireplace. Except there's no fireplace.
Gee, if they ever find out how that fire really started, I'll be cooked. Haven't you got a good idea?
Yes, I'm going home. So long, Leroy. See you in school. Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello there, Piggy.
Oh, now I'm really going to be sick.
Say, what's that I smell? Did Bertie burn something?
Yeah, the living room.
What?
Goodbye, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Come back here a moment, young man. Where is Bertie?
She's mopping up the water on the carpet.
What water?
The water Leroy squirted on the fern box just before he did a nosedive onto the floor.
Oh, my goodness.
Uncle, what's happened around here?
I don't know for sure, Marjorie, but the way I understand it, Leroy was watering the fern box in the living room. After flooding the floor, he tried to dive on it while Bertie was cooking the rug.
That couldn't be.
Well, that's Piggy's story.
Yeah, well, it was nice visiting you.
Here, come along with us, young man. We're going to get to the bottom of all this.
Oh, dear.
Huh?
Oh, look at Leroy on the sofa.
Yeah.
Are you all right, Leroy?
Oh, hello, Marge. Hello, Uncle Mort.
Well, by George, he does look all washed out.
Oh.
Young man, what do you mean by diving on your nose in the carpet?
You leave that poor little boy alone. He's a hero. Just like Dewey at Vanilla.
What do you mean, Bertie?
Why, there was a fire, and Leroy ran in here with the hose and saved us all from being a lot of clinkers.
Well, you're a brave boy, Leroy. By the way, Bertie, how did the fire happen to start?
Oh, my head. Oh, my stomach. Oh, my.
What's wrong? Oh, I know. He's inhaled too much smoke.
Yes, that's it, Uncle Mort.
Well, we're going to get you well in no time at all. No time at all.
That's good.
Yes. Marjorie, what's the office number of Dr. Silsby?
No. I don't need a doctor. Just Rosebud 2212.
Thanks. Hand me that phone, please, Bertie. Thank you. Now, don't try to get up, Leroy. Just relax like a piece of liver.
No!
Hello, Dr. Silsby? This is Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. I want you to come right over. There was a little fire at our place. I know you're not a fireman. My nephew Leroy put it out, and now he isn't feeling so hot. Yeah, get over here as quickly as you can, Doctor. I don't know what in the world's keeping that, Doctor. While we're waiting for him, Leroy, here's a little surprise I brought to you from downtown. Here. It's a chocolate cigar.
No.
Yeah. Quick, somebody water. He's going to faint again.
No, I'll be all right, Uncle. Chocolate and cigars. I couldn't take it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, my boy. But you won't refuse a nice big chocolate cigar, will you, Piggy?
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve. I couldn't.
Huh?
That is, Leroy might feel bad if he saw me eating it.
Oh, yes. Well, that's very considerate. We'll save them for later, then. By the way, how did this fire in the living room start, Piggy?
You mean the fire from the cigar and the fern stand?
Oh!
What's wrong, my boy?
It hurts. The scar I got from the fern stand that was on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Piggy, isn't it time for you to go home?
Yes. I gotta be going now.
Yes. Well, it gets me. How a fern stand can suddenly, without any cause, burst into flame is one for Ripley.
Maybe it was spontaneous compulsion. Those ferns were getting terribly parched, late in the year, no rain inside the house.
Oh. Well, I suppose we'll never know.
Yeah, let's let sleeping dogs sleep.
Yep.
Excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, but look what I found in the ruins of that there fernery that was on fire.
Well, looks like remnants of a cigar. Why, this could have started the whole thing.
Well, folks, now I really gotta go.
Huh?
So long, Leroy. Good night, Mr. Gildersleeve.
What's bothering that young man?
Oh, that's Piggy's way, Unc. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Well, son, you rest till the doctor gets here. I'm going to look into a few matters. Come on, Bertie. Let Leroy sleep. I can't understand it. How did a cigar get into the fern stand? Oh, talking of cigars, Bertie, did anything happen to those 2 new boxes of Larumbas?
They putting them in boxes now?
No, I'm talking about my cigars. Oh, yes, here they are. Let me see. 6 missing, and I only took out 5. Bertie, have you been putting the snatch on my stogies?
Yes, sir.
Aha!
I snatches them off the furniture and I put them into ashtrays.
No, I mean, have you been smoking my cigars?
Me? Oh, I should say not. I ain't one of them society ladies.
Well, somebody took one. Marjorie?
Yes, Uncle Mort?
I've been doing a little detective work about that fire. I've always fancied myself as another thin man. And I have a pretty good idea how it started, too.
How, Uncle?
Well, I think I know who dropped a cigar into that fern stand.
Now, don't look at me with that steely glint in your eye, Sherlock Holmes. I haven't smoked a cigar since last election.
Oh, be serious, Marjorie. Did you notice how evasive Leroy and Piggy Banks were when I questioned them just now?
No, I didn't.
Oh, of course not. You weren't even there. But they were as hard to pin down as a baby on a roller coaster.
But Leroy, smoking cigars.
Didn't you notice their appearance? They were both as pale around the gills as a whitefish.
Does smoking a cigar have that effect?
I should say. I'll never forget my first corn silk Corona. I was weak for days and the days for weeks. And besides all this circumstantial evidence, there's one real incriminating clue.
What's that?
Leroy's little finger.
What's wrong with his little finger?
He's wearing the cigar band from that missing cigar. At last, Doctor. What delayed you? Did you stop on the way to cure a couple of hams?
Fine thanks for rushing away from an office full of patients. Well, where's the sick boy? Show me to him.
Oh, yes, just a second, Doc. Since I phoned you, I found out a few things. I think Leroy is sick because he smoked one of my cigars.
Well, I can understand that. I smoked one of them, too.
Yes, but I can't get him to admit it, Doctor. He just keeps groaning and changing the subject. Now, I've got an idea how we can smoke out this whole cigar business.
What's that?
What kind of sickness would have the same preliminary symptoms as smoking a cigar, Doc?
Oh, almost any of the juvenile illnesses.
Yeah?
Measles, chicken pox, or mumps, say?
Say, mumps will do. You examine Leroy, and you tell him he's got the mumps. That'll bring the truth out of him. Come on.
Oh, you and your schemes.
Remember what to do, Doc. Leroy. Here's Dr. Silsby to take care of our sick little boy.
Oh, suffering stuff.
Yes.
You didn't need to bother the doctor, Hunk. I'll be all right in a couple of hours.
Well, now that I'm here, boy, I better give you a quick once-over. You see your tongue. Mm-hmm. Now, say ah.
Ah.
Yeah, I better take your pulse. Keep your dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Now, you can put your tongue back in now.
Thanks.
Now, tell me, after you inhaled this smoke, did you suffer any attack of vertigo?
No, I was just dizzy.
Oh, yeah. And this was accompanied by acute nausea?
It was nausea, all right, but there was nothing cute about it.
Well, that's just as I thought. Let me feel your jaws. Oh.
Hey, what are you about?
Mr. Gildersleeve, has this boy ever had the mumps?
Mumps? I don't think so. Have you ever had the mumps before, Leroy?
No. Say, you don't think I got them now, do you, Doc?
Well, it's a little early to say for sure, but the indications point that way.
Oh.
Yes, isn't that too bad? Looks like you'll have to stay in bed instead of going to that big football game, Leroy.
Hey, wait a minute. Gee, Doc, maybe you're mistaken. Maybe if you knew what really happened, you wouldn't call it mumps.
What do you mean, what really happened, Leroy?
Oh, gee, I should have told you before. Uncle Mort, the reason I got sick and look so pale and everything is, well, gee, I hate to tell you, but, why did I do it?
Why did you do what, Leroy?
Why did I smoke one of your cigars?
At last. Now we're getting the truth. Young man, I'm surprised at you.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry I ever did, Uncle Mort. Sorry as I can be.
Yes, I think you've learned your lesson, Leroy.
I have, Uncle Mort. I really have. And now maybe Dr. Silsby can see it's the cigar that makes me look this way and not mumps.
Well, Leroy, that was just a little put-up job. Little scheme to get the truth out of you. You really haven't got the mumps, has he, Doctor?
No, he hasn't, Gildersleeve. But according to his pulse and his temperature and these spots on his chest, he has got the measles.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. But right now, do you grown-ups remember the old-fashioned kitchen on baking day? What fragrance, with cakes and pies and cookies in the oven. Why, everything smelled so good my mouth fairly watered in anticipation of all the good things to eat. And nowadays, lots of up-to-the-minute housewives are learning the modern secret of that old-time home-baked flavor. Yes, more and more good cooks are insisting on a real flavor shortening for baking instead of bland, tasteless fat. That's why so many good housewives are using Parquet margarine for baking. For a flavor shortening is just what Parquet is. You see, the delicate taste that makes Parquet so delicious for table use gives extra flavor to baked foods, too. Yes, and that's the secret of foods pan-fried in Parquet. They're tastier, too, and Parquet doesn't spatter or stick to the pan. And remember, Parquet margarine is good for you. Yes, Parquet is a wholesome, nourishing energy food that contains important vitamin A. But why not try delicious, economical Parquet margarine and find out how good it is yourself? Just ask your dealer for Parquet. Parkay.
Dark room, Uncle Mort?
Yes, Leroy. That's part of the cure for measles, you know.
Who's that?
Leroy, it's me, Piggy. I just sneaked back to see if they found out.
Yeah, they did.
Gee, did you catch it?
I'll say I did.
Yeah. Looks like you're going to catch it too, Piggy. Good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve. And reminding you that every one of us can help in the nation's defense program by joining the Red Cross during its annual roll call, November 11th to November 30th. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
by transcription.
Mother, is Maxwell House the best coffee in the whole world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your new neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by Maxwell House, the coffee that's bought and enjoyed by more people than any other brand of coffee at any price. Maxwell House, always good to the last drop. Well, another year is underway. All the excitement of Christmas and New Year's is over. But in the average home, the usual problems of life and living still remain. In Springfield, in the white frame house on Maple Street, the Andersons, like any average family, are back in a well-ordered groove. But being an average family, you can bet they won't stay there very long. They never do they?
Mother,
Yes, Kathy.
when I finish my dinner, may I go over to Patty Davis's?
All right, dear, if you don't stay too long.
Mother, how can she? This is her week to dry.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Kathy. I forgot.
Snitcher.
Kathy, please be quiet and eat your dinner.
All right, Daddy.
Mom.
Yes, Bud?
I'll be glad to dry the dishes to Kathy.
You will?
Well, that's very nice, dear. But it's Kathy's chore, and she'd better do it herself.
Gee whiz.
Margaret,
Yes, dear.
you know, it's very funny, but I could have sworn I heard Bud say he'd dry the dishes for Kathy.
I did.
You said you'd dry the dishes for Kathy?
Sure.
You mean just like that?
Sure, why not?
You know, I think I've been working too hard. Everything sounds so strange.
It was the holidays, dear. They're quite a strain.
Well, it's something. You feel all right, don't you, Bud?
I feel fine.
Maybe I'll go to bed right after dinner. That ought to fix me up.
But, dear, I told you Judge Mitchell said he was going to call. He's been trying to get you all day.
I know. Probably wants me to serve on that Highway Safety Committee. You know, Margaret, you'd think I was the only man in Springfield that could make a speech. Every time somebody dreams up a committee or a drive or a bond rally, get Jim Anderson. Get Jim Anderson. Speeches here, speeches there.
Jim, you love it and you know it.
But I don't have the time. I don't think I've ever been so busy in my entire life.
Anything we can do, Father?
No, Betty, I'm afraid not. You know what I've got to do now, Margaret? I've got to revise the schedule on every automobile policy in the office. The rates went up again today.
No, Jim, really?
How come, Dad?
Reckless drivers, that's how come.
Oh.
7,100 kids between the ages of 15 and 24 killed in 1 year. And it's getting worse all the time. Bud?
Yes, Dad?
Did you take the ashes out this afternoon?
Yes, sir, I sure did.
You don't have a report card you want me to sign, do you?
Oh, no, Dad. We won't have those until the end of the month.
I see. How's your allowance holding up?
Fine, Dad, just great.
I don't get it. May I have my coffee, please?
Of course, dear. There you are.
You don't get what, Dad?
This sudden burst of sweetness and light. What are you up to?
Why, nothing, Dad, nothing at all.
He's probably in love.
Oh, mush. Girls. All they can think about is love.
I'll get it.
No, Betty, wait. Margaret, would you answer it, please?
Well, of course, dear, if that's what you want.
And if it's Judge Mitchell, tell him I'm out. I had a business engagement and won't be back until late.
All right, I just hope you know what you're doing. Hello? Oh, hello, Judge Mitchell. No, I'm awfully sorry, but Jim had to go out. Yes, a business call.
Daddy.
Kathy, be quiet, please.
That'll be fine, Judge Mitchell. I'll be sure to tell him as soon as he comes in. Good night.
Daddy,
What is it, Kathy?
you told a fib.
I did no such thing.
Jim, Judge Mitchell said he'd try you again later.
Fine. Give him a horse and he'd make a Canadian Mountie look sick.
You said you were out and you weren't out. And if that isn't a fib, what is?
I think I'll have another piece of cake, Margaret.
All right, dear.
Daddy,
Yes, Kathy.
You said you were out and you weren't out. And if that isn't a fib, what is?
Kathy, I heard you the first time.
Well?
Margaret.
Oh, no, don't get me involved in this. I have enough troubles of my own.
Love, honor, and obey. For better or for worse. Fine stuff. Kathy,
Yes, Daddy?
as you grow older, you'll learn to distinguish between telling an untruth and telling something that isn't true. I mean, if you tell an untruth because you're afraid to tell the truth, it's worse than if you don't tell the truth merely because you feel that if you do tell the truth. You see, Kathy, there are times when if you tell an untruth, it isn't really an untruth. Because you mean to tell the truth, but, well, you want to be kind, that's all.
Betty, please.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Betty. Go ahead, Dad. I think it's very interesting.
What is?
What you just said.
You mean you understood it?
Of course.
Well, I'm glad somebody did. How about you, Kathy?
I guess so. It's a fib when you're little, but when you grow up, it isn't.
No, Kathy, that isn't it at all. It's, well, all right, I told a fib. I shouldn't have, but I did.
That's what I thought.
Kathy, can't you see Dad's tired? Why don't you leave him alone?
Bud, stick out your tongue.
What for?
Never mind what for, just stick your tongue out. Look all right to you, Margaret?
Just beautiful, dear. One of the loveliest tongues I've ever seen.
All right, Bud, put it back in.
Holy cow, now I can't even have any privacy with my own tongue.
Finish your milk, dear.
Well, how old do you have to be before people stop looking at your tongue anyway?
When you get that old, you start looking at it yourself. All right, Bud, please see who's at the door.
Okay. Why don't you look at Betty's tongue once in a while? She's goofier than anybody.
Why, Bud Anderson, you little snip.
Betty, that'll be enough of that.
But, Father...
I said that'll be enough of that. Now, either finish your dinner or go to your room.
Oh, I'll be glad to.
After you finish the dishes.
Oh. May I have the sugar, please?
Yeah, there you are, dear.
Tell me I'm goofy.
Say, Dad, it's the minister.
Dr. Swain? Well, have him come in.
Oh, he said he'll wait for you in the living room.
Oh, dear, is my hair all right? Do you think I ought to change my dress?
You and Dr. Swain going out dancing?
Jim, stop being ridiculous. Bud, will you help the girls with the dishes tonight, please?
Sure, Mom, I'll be glad to.
Thank you, dear. Well, shall we go in, Jim?
Oh, sure. Say, Margaret,
Yes, dear.
what do you suppose is wrong with Bud?
Jim, you have a very suspicious nature.
No, I just have a very normal son. Well, how are you, Dr. Swain?
Mr. Anderson and Mrs. Anderson.
Oh, it's so nice seeing you, Dr. Swain.
Well, I hope you'll think so after you learn why I'm here.
Oh? Sit down, Doctor, please.
Mrs. Anderson?
Well, thank you.
Ah, there we are. That is better, isn't it?
Dr. Swain, this visit wouldn't have anything to do with Bud, would it?
Your son? Oh, dear, no. Is anything wrong?
No, I was just wondering, that's all.
I see. No, my visit is based, shall we say, on a far more general community requirement, a need which applies to our entire congregation rather than any individual.
Dr. Swain, you know, we've just gone through a pretty severe case of Christmas, and...
Jim, please.
Well, I just want Dr. Swain to know.
Mr. Anderson, I'm not looking for donations.
Well...
At this time.
Oh.
No, what I'm looking for right now is advice.
Oh. Well.
You see, at a meeting the other night, the question of family relations was brought up for discussion. Obligations of parents and children to one another. That sort of thing, you know.
I see.
Unfortunately, the majority of those present had rather vague ideas concerning the matter under discussion. And since Mrs. Swain and I have never been blessed with a family, I could add but little light on the subject, of a practical nature, that is. That is why I've come to you.
Well, of course, Dr. Swain. Anything we can do to help?
I knew I could count on the Andersons. As I told the others, the Anderson children are so thoroughly normal and so nicely behaved, for the most part. I'm sure anything their parents tell us will be of the utmost interest and assistance.
Oh, you mean you want a speech?
Well, not a speech, really. Just an informative little talk at our meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, well, look, Dr. Swain, you know I'd like to help, but I'm actually up to my ears in work.
Well, I'm sure you must be, Mr. Anderson, but you see that...
It's not that I don't want to cooperate, Dr. Swain. You know I always have in the past.
Of course you have, but you see
But after all, this is just a simple problem. I'm sure that any other father in the congregation will be only too glad to help you.
But, Mr. Anderson, we don't want a father.
After all, family relations are merely a practical application of... You what?
We don't want a father. We feel that the crystal clear viewpoint of a mother is what this particular problem requires.
A mother?
You mean...
Precisely. We want Mrs. Anderson.
Oh.
We'll go along with Dr. Swain on that. Why, any number of problems call for Mother's crystal clear viewpoint. Take coffee as another example. Who knows better than Mother the wonderful difference a really good cup of coffee can make? Coffee like our Maxwell House. That wonderful, good to the last drop flavor. You won't find it, you know, in any other coffee. No coffee but Maxwell House. And there's a particular reason why. It's a recipe. The only recipe under the sun for good to the last drop flavor. It's mighty important, that recipe. And here's why. After all, the most important thing about coffee is flavor. And that flavor depends on the blend, the kind of coffee's in it, and how they're put together. Now, throughout the world, coffee grows in countless different varieties, and you can combine them in all sorts of ways. But there's only one way, one recipe for our famous Maxwell House flavor. And this recipe of ours accounts for the difference, the big difference, between the flavor of just any coffee and the wonderfully good flavor of America's favorite brand. But I want you to know how truly good our Maxwell House is on your own. So tomorrow, open up a pound and enjoy Maxwell House, the coffee that's always good to the last drop.
It's less than an hour later in the white frame house on Maple Street. Dr. Swain is gone. The Anderson kids are deep in their homework. Father is deep in his newspaper. Mother is up to her neck in preparation for a speech. And when it comes to speeches, Margaret is a wonderful cook. Pretty, too.
Jim,
Yes, Margaret?
what would you say was the most important link between a father and a son?
Money.
Jim, I'm very serious.
So am I. May I please read my paper?
I could only find a central theme. Not juvenile delinquency. Everybody's done that. Jim,
Yes, Margaret.
did the automobile insurance rates really go up today?
That's right.
Did the Home Office say why?
Of course they did. The number of accidents involving youngsters under the age of... Oh, no, you don't. You write your own speech.
You're mean. There isn't one other husband in Springfield who wouldn't be glad to help his wife.
Margaret, you're absolutely right. I'm nothing but a beast.
You mean you're going to help me?
No, but I acknowledge the fact that I'm a beast. Now, may I read my paper?
Jim, if you wanted to make the speech, why didn't you say so?
If I wanted... Margaret, where did you ever get a ridiculous idea like that?
Well, you're sulking like a spoiled child.
I'm trying to read my newspaper.
It amounts to the same thing.
Margaret, I told Dr. Swain I didn't want to make the speech. You heard me tell him.
Rubbish. You just wanted him to coax you.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Margaret, why is...
It certainly isn't my fault that he wanted a mother's viewpoint. Jim, where are you going?
I'm going to indulge in one of my pleasant little whimsies. When the doorbell rings, I like to see if maybe somebody rang it.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, hello, Judge Mitchell. Come in.
Thank you.
Well, it's certainly nice seeing you. I'm sorry I wasn't in when you called. Let me take your thing.
All right. Hello, Mrs. Anderson. How are you this evening?
Why, Judge Mitchell, what a pleasant surprise. Won't you come in and sit down?
Yes, thank you. Jim, what I have to say won't take very long.
There's no need to rush, Judge. You know, I was just saying to Margaret just a little while ago, the fathers of this community ought to take a more active interest in public affairs. Wasn't I, Margaret?
Weren't you what, dear?
Wasn't I saying what I just said?
Oh, of course, yes.
Naturally, being in the insurance business, I have to make a great many calls during the evening. But in spite of that...
Jim, I'm sure you're leading up to something very interesting, but I'm a busy man and I haven't got much time. Is Bud at home?
Why, yes, he's in his room.
Would you call him, please?
Of course. Bud?
You want me, Dad?
Yes, would you please come down here?
Okay.
Bud and the stairs don't get along very well.
If there's anything that you want me to do, Dad, I... Uh-oh.
Good evening, Bud.
Bud, Judge Mitchell is speaking to you.
I know. I mean, hello. Good evening, sir.
Bud, have you told your parents?
No, sir, I haven't.
Oh, there was something. I had a feeling.
Well, go ahead, Bud. Let's get on with it.
Dad, Mom, I was out for a ride with the fellas this afternoon, and we knocked over Judge Mitchell's tree.
His tree?
Oh, Bud.
What were you driving, a tank?
Well, it was just a little tree, Dad, and all the fellas are gonna chip in and buy a new one. Gosh, we said we were sorry.
I should think you would be. Judge Mitchell, Bud and his friends will replace your tree. I give you my word.
Jim, it's not the tree that bothers me.
You mean there's more?
Well, my principal concern is the manner in which the tree was destroyed. Tell him, Bud.
Well, we were playing chicken.
Bud, after all I've said to you...
Jim, I'm afraid I don't understand. What is chicken?
Oh, it's a game these kids thought up.
We didn't think it up, Dad.
Well, whoever did ought to have his head examined. If he still has a head. Driving a car at full speed with nobody holding the wheel. The first one who gets a little sense into his thick skull and tries to control the car, he's chicken and he loses.
Oh, Bud, how could you?
Gosh, Mom, everybody does it. And if all the fellas hadn't gotten chicken at the same time, we'd have been all right. But, well, everybody grabbed for the wheel at once, and heck, it was only a tree.
It was only a tree. Bud, you can kneel down and thank all of your guardian angels that it was only a tree. What if your mother had been standing where that tree was? Or Betty, or Kathy? Would you have been able to stop any sooner or steer any better?
No, I guess not.
You guess not. Well, we'll go into this matter in great detail, believe me. Judge Mitchell.
Yes, Jim?
Bud was wrong, but I want you to know that I feel he isn't solely to blame.
Oh, I suppose not, but...
It's, I don't mean the other boys. I have reference to myself.
Oh?
I'm going to be very honest, Judge Mitchell, very frank. I owe you a very humble apology.
You mean for not being home so consistently?
I avoided you all day because I thought you wanted me to serve on your Highway Safety Committee. I thought I was too busy. I'd let someone else take care of it. After all, my son was a competent driver. Why worry about the other fellow's problem? Judge Mitchell, my son is not a competent driver, and the fault is mine. I taught him the mechanics of driving, how to start and stop a car, and how to steer, but I failed to teach him the responsibility that goes with a car. I put a ton of steel in his hands, a weapon as deadly as any gun, and I failed to impress upon his mind the fact that when he's in a car, he holds the power of life and death in his fingertips. But he's going to be taught, Judge Mitchell. Before he touches a steering wheel again, he's going to know the full meaning of his responsibility. The car is not a toy, not an instrument for childish games. And he'll drive sensibly, safely, courteously, or I give you my word, he'll never drive again. Now, about the tree...
Well, we can just forget the tree, Jim. Let's say that it died for worthy cause.
Jim.
Yes, Margaret?
Do you know what you just did? You just gave my speech.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to muscle in on your territory.
Oh, Jim, will you please stop being silly? Why don't you go along with me tomorrow and tell the same things to the other parents? I think they learn a great deal.
Margaret, you know I don't want to make any speeches.
Well, whatever you say, dear.
But as long as you insist, well, I guess I might as well.
All right, dear. Father knows best.
So Father's going to make his speech after all. Well, that's fine, because he does have something important to say. And right now, so do I. These days, when you buy coffee, you want the most in flavor for every penny you spend. After all, flavor's what you're paying for. And we don't think you can beat the famous flavor we pack into every pound of Maxwell House. But here's the point. Air can steal coffee flavor. And ordinary containers, like paper bags, can't prevent roasted coffee from losing flavor, whether it's ground or whole bean. That's why we take our Maxwell House, still fresh and fragrant from our roasting ovens, and carefully vacuum pack it in the familiar blue tin. That way, no air gets in, and none of that wonderful flavor gets out. So the next pound of coffee you buy, be sure you get all the flavor and fragrance you pay for. You will with Maxwell House coffee. Always good to the last drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight Father Knows Best is honored by a celebrated and rather unusual guest. An article concerning him and his wonderful work appeared in the November issue of Liberty magazine and was reprinted in the December issue of Reader's Digest. That takes care of the celebrated part of it. As for the unusual, well, so far as I know, he is the only traffic court judge in the history of the United States ever to have warranted the use of the term popular. It's an honor and a very great privilege to introduce a young man who has made the city of Los Angeles a safer place in which to live. Judge Roger Pfaff.
Thank you. Good evening, Bob.
Your Honor, doggone, I just can't get used to feeling comfortable with a traffic court judge. I feel like I've just gone through a red light or something.
Well, that'll be $25.
I said I feel like I've gone through it.
Well, in that case, we'll suspend sentence, but don't let it happen again.
Well, thank you, Judge Pfaff. I believe you know what we on Father Knows Best are trying to accomplish.
I do, Bob, and I can't recommend too highly or endorse more heartily the program you are spearheading. The question of accidents involving young drivers and the unfortunate incidents of traffic casualties and fatalities has become a serious problem in every community in the nation. Something has to be done about it, and fast. You see, Bob, if it were a single problem, we could cope with it quite easily. If all the teenage drivers were incompetent or careless, we could insist that they avail themselves of the driver education and training courses being given in many high schools throughout America. A great many boys and girls have taken these courses and are taking them right now. But our problem is with competent drivers, skilled drivers. The youngster who is so confident of his ability that he takes ridiculous chances with his life and yours. Less than a year ago, a lad was brought into my courtroom on a charge so fantastic that it is almost unbelievable. This boy was driving a car in excess of 55 miles an hour without a steering wheel.
Well, there's only one suitable comment for that. Bud's favorite and all-inclusive, holy cow.
This boy was steering with a pair of pliers, and he was so confident of his ability that he couldn't for the life of him understand why we considered him a potential murderer. You see, Bob, that's the way these boys and girls must think of themselves whenever they take those wild, split-second chances, whenever they play chicken or hubcap tag or any of their other reckless and ridiculous games. In spite of their skill, which we do not question, in spite of their youth, which gives them reflexes much faster than yours or mine, these drivers are death on wheels. They're accidents going somewhere to happen.
Well, Judge Pfaff, you don't mean that, of course, to apply to all young drivers.
Oh, no, Bob, of course not. Most of them, I know, are sensible, intelligent youngsters. But it's hard to tell the innocent from the guilty. and so they all get a bad name. That's why I think the highway safety plan, as you explained it to me, should be welcomed by the young drivers. Why don't you tell them about it?
Okay, I'll do it right now. Through the Inter-Industry Highway Safety Committee, which was formed at the request of President Truman, 2 clubs have been set up. A man-to-man club for fathers and sons, and a counterpart on the distaff side for dads and daughters. Voluntary good driver agreements are provided for. These are agreements between parents and children to be signed by both, and they involve pledges on both sides. The father promises to grant permission to his son or daughter to drive the family car at appropriate times. And the youngster, well, he or she has to promise to abide by 8 good driving rules. But they're sensible rules designed not to take the joy out of life, but rather to give you a longer life to enjoy. With each man-to-man or dad-to-daughter agreement, there is a membership card. And I'd like to see them riding in teenage pockets and hat bands all over the country.
You know, Bob, that's quite an idea. Those membership cards will help to separate the black sheep from the innocents of the flock. The youngsters who are careful drivers, intelligent drivers, will no longer have to protest that it's the other fellow who takes chances, the other fellow who plays the wild games, the other fellow who gives all drivers a bad name. They can prove, by living up to the terms of these membership cards, that they have a right to the respect of their elders and a right to share the highways with their fellow citizens.
Parents and young drivers, why don't you get one of these agreements right away? They're yours for the asking. Just send a note to the Robert Young Good Drivers Club, care of your local NBC station, and we'll shoot the works right back at you. Well, I guess that just about does it. Can you think of anything else, Judge Pfaff?
Yes, just one other thing. You know, I have a slightly selfish interest in your whole highway safety movement.
How is that?
Well, I figure that if you can get all the drivers of this country to operate their vehicles safely, carefully, and with simple, good old-fashioned American courtesy, well, every once in a while, fellows like me will have a chance to go fishing. Good night, Bob.
Good night, Judge Pfaff, and thank you for coming.
If you like good things the easy way,
Good things the easy way.
Instant Maxwell House, that's for you. Good coffee that's easy too.
No time, no trouble,
No grounds, no pot.
and it's good to the very last. You know what?
Yes, Instant Maxwell House means great coffee instantly in your cup. Here's real instant coffee. All pure Maxwell House coffee in instant form. Enjoy instant Maxwell House. Instantly.
Good to the very last. You know what?
Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. Don't forget, parents and youngsters, for your voluntary pledges and membership cards, just write to the Robert Young Good Drivers Club, care of your local NBC station. Now it's time to say goodnight, so until next Thursday, good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned in for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
Here are Dan Daly and Ann Baxter on Screen Guild Theater next.
Dedicated to the strength of the nation. Proudly we hail. Yes, Proudly We Hail, starring Turhan Bey in The Magnificent Rogue, United States Army and United States Air Force presentation. And now here is our producer, the well-known Hollywood showman, C.P. McGregor.
Thank you, and greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Theater of Stars, where your favorites from the cinema world gather to star in plays we know you'll enjoy. That international favorite, the very popular Turhan Bey, stars in a bright romance comedy titled The Magnificent Rogue. In just a moment, we'll have the curtain for Act One. But here now is Wendell Niles with a message of importance.
Every American has a right to be proud these days. Proud of the men who serve their country in the uniforms of the United States Army and the United States Air Force. Everyone knows the war record back of the armed forces. We are all duly proud of the victories won and the men who won them. But think a moment. The U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force always have been and are just as worthy of your pride during peacetime. Remember, the men who serve their country in uniform today are your greatest bulwark for security peace. Now, once again, our producer.
The curtain rises on Act One of The Magnificent Rogue, starring Turhan Bey as Jacques Courrier. It all happened somewhere in the vicinity of Avenue Montpellier, Paris, where dwelled, in various stages of limited circumstances, the struggling artists and musicians who made Paris their Mecca. By day, they worked at odd jobs to pay the rent and to keep a loaf of bread and a bottle of wine in their cupboard. By night, they studied, or, weather permitting, strolled with a lover in the Tuileries Gardens. On the evening our story begins, the music of a violin is heard coming from the apartment of Jacques Courrier, a handsome young new arrival at Montpellier. Across the street below, a door opens at the sound of the violin. A lovely blonde girl listens entranced. Then, obeying some uncontrollable impulse, she dashes madly towards the flat from which the music comes.
Oh, I'm too late. Oh, forgive me for breaking in on you.
Not at all. I'm honored.
Oh, it was magnificent.
The music?
Yes, your violin. Oh, what is your name?
Jacques Courrier.
Jacques Courrier. Oh, for you, Jacques, I predict a great future.
Oh, the violin attracted you so?
It magnetized me. I had to rush over. Oh, I'm not a forward girl. I have good upbringing.
Of course, of course.
Oh, but the gentleman has the piano.
Oh, forgive me, Piron, my accomplice.
Bonsoir.
Charm indeed.
Oh, what talent he possesses, Monsieur Perron.
Yes, and with the winnings, too.
Well, oh, you must not think that I rushed over.
No, of course not. To hear the violin only.
Oh, what it does to me. Well, I'm interrupting. I shall go home.
You are a beautiful interruption.
I know I shall go home.
I'll see you to the door.
Merci. Good night, Monsieur Perron.
Good night, mademoiselle.
So, you're just a student?
Just that.
But you possess in your playing... Well, you have the control of a master already.
You are too complimentary.
I know. I'm a student of the violin, too.
Oh?
Yes. Oh, tell me, when may I hear you play again?
Rather, when will you play for me?
Oh, well,
Tomorrow night. Promise me you'll play for me tomorrow night.
All right.
Splendid.
Good night.
Wait, I do not know your name.
Oh, it is an ordinary name. Marie Carpentier.
It is the name of an angel. Good night, Marie.
Good night.
Well, Piron, what do you think of her?
Oh, she's gorgeous. Isn't she the one?
She is. The one I've been mad to meet ever since we moved here 3 days ago.
Well, what did she say when you told her the truth?
When I told her what?
That what she heard was only a phonograph record.
Ah, but I would not tell her that. Disappoint my beautiful Marie? Besides, I'm not so bad. Listen.
Oh, stop! You screech like a devilish piece of chalk on the blackboard.
Oh, now be patient. I've picked up this instrument for the first time only 10 minutes ago.
I warn you. You had better tell her.
No. You don't know romance, Piron. At this point, she's attracted to me for my violin.
What violin?
Now, when she says that she loves me and means it, then I will tell her all.
Why? You introduced me as your accompanist. I am a piano tuner, and I dislike posing as something else.
You are a marvelous accompanist, Piron. Until the young lady realizes my personal charm. Ah, what a beautiful fate. You tune Denoir's piano. Denoir cannot pay. You take his violin for bond, and the violin brings to me the woman I love.
Jacques, the stranger was there again.
Oh, the one with the mustache?
Yes. He is most anxious to see you.
Well, I'm not anxious to see him. If he comes tomorrow while you are here, tweak his mustache, put your foot to the seat of his pants, and say, be off with you. Tell him I'm too busy these days, that I am in love, that I am winning a wife.
Wait until she finds out what you do to gain your bread and wine.
Oh, she will understand.
Not to mention what she will do when she finds out you are unable to even run a scale on the violin.
I will manage by having a good supply of phonograph records.
Yours will still be the fate of an impostor.
Oh, what a lovely fate, then, Piron. Commencing tomorrow. She happens to be a student of violin. I have consented for her to play for me tomorrow night.
You have consented to let her play for you? Mon Dieu, this is the end.
Oh, my Marie, I can hardly wait. Come in, Marie. Come in, my lovely.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Maestro.
Oh, please.
No, I must call you Maestro. Last night you sounded like Isis. This evening I heard you, and you had the unearthly perfection of the Yeti.
It is unearthly, mademoiselle. Ask him sometime to make for you on the violin the sound of a squeaky door.
Remarkable sense of humor. Now, Piron, were you not about to leave for some chestnuts? The vendor is on the street below now, waiting to serve only you.
I am leaving.
Oh, poor man. Suffers from lack of imagination. But now, Marie, you have your violin, I see.
Yes. Oh, but I'm really so nervous playing for you. You see, I've only been studying violin 10 years.
Well, my dear, at least you have a foundation.
Yes. Well, you won't be critical then.
How could I be critical of you?
Oh, I'm encouraged now.
You may play for me.
Well, what do you think?
Remarkable.
My tone?
Your eyes.
Oh, but my music.
Oh, that. Marie, my lovely one.
Yes?
You have
Yes.
a considerable degree of talent.
Oh, I'm so pleased. Oh, you have no idea what that means coming from you. Oh, how can I thank you?
Why, you can take my arm and join me for a stroll if you would.
I would.
Well, I regret there is no moon out tonight, but I'm assured of one tomorrow night.
Oh?
And there is to be a carousel in the neighborhood. Would you not accompany me?
Oh, I think I'd love to. You know, it's so encouraging being around you.
It is. I'm glad.
Yes. You see, Madame Francois Cartier discourages me with my violin.
And who is Madame Francois Cartier?
My advisor. She's helpful in guiding me. She says I should give up the violin, get married, and raise a family.
Well, now, actually...
But you have encouraged me to study. If it takes 50 years, what matter?
Yes, what matter?
By the way, what do you do to keep you in food and wine? Not that it means anything to me, knowing as I do that you're a genius flowering, but Madame Cartier will be interested.
Well, at the moment, I'm following the trade of an interior decorator.
Interior decorator? Oh, my, you're talented. Well, here's my door.
Yes, unfortunately, it is.
Good night, Chuck.
Oh, one moment. I would like to know one thing.
Yes?
Do you ever think of me apart from my violin?
Oh, can I?
Oh.
You see, Jacques, the violin is my second love.
And your first love?
Well, now, one does not tell a gentleman everything the first night.
Oh, Marie, tell me, is there a chance for me?
Oh, no. So little time has transpired. I will say this, however. Last night, I dreamed of the man I was to marry. We were in our own house, our castle.
Oh, Marie.
We sat before the fireplace. We would hold hands and talk and dream. And then...
And then?
Then we would play violin duets. Good night, Jacques.
Ah, you're back. Oh, what a mad world, Piron. The woman I crave to be my wife must play violin duets.
I said you were headed for trouble.
I will find the answer. Was there anyone here?
Little man with a mustache. I did as instructed.
Well, if the man has a bill, pay it.
With what? Everything we have is spent for phonograph records.
Then ignore him.
But you, my fraudulent friend, what are you going to do in your dilemma?
Very simple. Tomorrow I become a student of the violin. During my lunch hour, I find an instructor.
So, you want to learn to play the violin? Well, you have come to the right man, Professor Lecorne. I have guided the careers of such famous virtuosi as Apfel and Strudel, not to mention Borscht.
I am happy, sir, I've come to you.
Now, I quickly see you have many qualifications for study. You have a fine intellect.
Thank you.
You have the quick muscular response.
Thank you.
You also have the pocketbook, no?
Oh, yes, I can pay you.
Only a formality. You may pay the first 10 lessons in advance. Yes, Jacques Courrier. Under my tutelage, I predict for you a great future.
I have not too great ambitions, Professor Lecorne. I wish merely to play second fiddle, to add a few notes here and there with a degree of authenticity.
A few notes? Bosh! I will have you amazed at your technique in no time at all.
Monsieur Lecorne, if you can accomplish this, you will have the undying gratitude of a man in love.
We pause briefly from our story, The Magnificent Rogue, starring Turhan Bey, to bring you an important message from our government.
Doctors of America, here is a problem that is of vital importance to you. A shortage of physicians, surgeons, and dentists is developing in the armed forces of our country. Doctors, dentists, and allied medical scientists are needed. You can help alleviate this shortage, help maintain the health of our men and women in uniform by serving a tour of active duty in the Army. The Army's extensive facilities for research and modern equipment will be at your disposal. You will have the benefit of techniques developed through years of practice and experimentation. When you put on the uniform as a medical officer in the U.S. Army, you'll be commissioned in a grade commensurate with your age and experience. In addition to your regular pay, you'll receive an additional $100 a month professional pay. Write today to the Surgeon General, U.S. Army, Washington 25, D.C., and request a tour of active duty.
The curtain rises on Act Two of The Magnificent Rogue, starring Turhan Bey as Jacques Courrier. Avenue Montpellier, Parisian rendezvous of budding artists and musicians, resounds to the music emanating from Jacques Courrier's apartment as he continues to pose as a student of the violin until he wins the heart of lovely Marie Carpentier. Marie, whose second love is the violin, has not divulged her first love. Jacques has high hopes as he stands before the mirror dressed to take her to the carousel. Piron looks on.
Well, Piron, what do you say? Am I not beautiful?
You have all the appearance of a peacock without inhibition.
I am complimented. Any calls today?
Moustache was here again.
Oh, that pest. Well, I must be off to take my lovely Marie to the carousel.
Has she discovered yet what an impostor you are?
No. And from what Professor Lecorne says of my suitability for violin, I dare say I'll need not tell her at all. Good night, Piron.
Good night.
Here we are. A place reserved for us.
Isn't that nice?
Ah, yes. Well, did I not promise you a full moon?
You did.
And there it is.
Yes.
Oh, if I could only express to you how lovely you are by moonlight.
Oh, Jacques.
You do care for me a little?
Yes, Jacques.
A little or very much?
Very much, Jacques.
Oh, Marie, my angel. I have never asked this of any woman before.
Yes, Jacques.
I want you to marry me. Will you be my wife?
I will be your wife.
Kiss me. My wife to be.
Oh, I must tell my advisor, Madame Cartier. Oh, Jacques. Think of our future together.
At this moment, I'm unable to think.
Oh, when I think of our future, I hear only music, the music of a violin.
You mean an occasional duet at home, together?
Oh, no, I mean you and the concert stage and the world at your feet. But why are you so quiet?
My dear, I was just thinking how our whole life's responsibility rests upon the shoulders of a certain Professor Lecor.
Now, once more, please. And remember the hand with the bow in it. You are not shining a window. Please, let me have it again. No. Oh, dear. Well, Jacques?
Yes, Professor?
I am a man who has great regard for the frank.
Yes?
However, and I must speak frankly, I cannot be tortured any further. Let me put it this way. Over in America, my cousin teaches the violin to a distinguished entertainer whose name is also Jacques. Jacques Benet.
Oh, yes, I have heard of him. He's working in one of Dennis Day's radio programs.
That is right. Now, my cousin has suffered great discouragement. After each lesson, he beats his head against the wall for 15 minutes. But compared to you, Jacques, my cousin is working with a protégé.
Good day, Professor Lecor.
Oh, Jacques.
Marie, what are you doing here?
I'm waiting for you, darling. I spoke to Madame Cartier. I told her about us. She's such a hard person to please.
Well, how did she respond?
I told her you were an interior decorator now while you study.
Oh, did that please her?
Well, she's a difficult person. Dislikes all musicians. Measures everything by the franc.
Well, if she dislikes musicians so, I would give up the violin.
Oh, no, never. But I have a plan. You will play for her.
Oh, no. No, you know how I'm about playing.
Please. When Madame Cartier would hear you, then she would know how famous you will be.
No. I'm not playing for anyone. Furthermore, strange places distract me.
Oh, then she will come here.
Oh, but I...
Oh, you must, Jacques, for me, for us. Oh, kiss me, Jacques, and say you will. What evening, Jacques?
I suppose... Friday? Why not? One day is as good as the next.
Will you stop pacing up and down?
I can't help it. What am I going to do?
Well, you prepare the stew in which you now find yourself being boiled.
This is not the time to place responsibility for wrong. I must decide. Oh, say, perhaps if I delay the concert for a couple of weeks...
Well...
And then I start to play records that grow progressively worse. Maybe in a couple of weeks I could reverse down to my present state of no talent whatsoever.
No, that would never work. The records are only of the fine artists.
Of course. Well, we will go through with it.
Are you out of your mind?
No, it can be done. And here's how. We will conceal the speaker.
The playback speaker?
Yes. And I know precisely the number I will play. The Nachtwind. The Night Wind. For this number, we can have the lights down very low.
You are insane.
No. You are at the piano. The playback arm next to the bench. Your signal will be, vive la bagatelle. Yes, vive la bagatelle. You put the playing arm down on the record.
But if something should slip up...
Things never slip up, Piron. Now, you will get for me that record, The Nachtwind, played by Swinton Johns, the Swedish violinist. We will entertain Madame Cartier. Yes, indeed. Well, come in, Marie.
Hello, darling. This is Madame Cartier.
How do you do, Madame Cartier?
How do you do? My, this is a peanut shell you live in, isn't it?
Well, the apartments are all small here in Montpellier, but the hearts are large.
Isn't it wonderful, Madame Cartier?
I don't know. This does seem rather a tiny place for an interior decorator. Oh, my, it's dark in here.
It's the mood I'm getting for playing. I'm doing The Nachtwind.
You know, young man, you look familiar to me.
I do?
Are you a carpenter? I seem to remember you walking into my house carrying a saw and fixing my door.
Oh, no.
Your face is most familiar.
Well, I guess we might as well commence the program. My violin, please. Thank you. Well, Piron, vive la bagatelle.
The Humber is saying vive la bagatelle, hooray for trifles, because he's playing a trifle.
Piron, Vive la bagatelle. Piron, what are you doing?
What is it? I don't understand.
It's Piron, turn it off.
I'm trying to.
Turn it off, do you hear me?
I see now. A concealed speaker. Marie, this man is a fraud.
Oh, it cannot be. Just tell me it's not a fraud.
Come in. Oh, dear. He's a man with a mustache.
Jacques Cartier here.
That is me.
Your bill. 3 months' dues. Unpaid. 30 francs.
Oh, well, here you are, my good man. And now, we're having a private party.
Just a minute. What are the dues for?
Paris local. Plumbers Union.
Now I remember. You were a plumber. You came to my house. You carried the plunger to fix my...
Oh, my Marie. She is faint.
And it serves her right, consorting with trash. Good night, you.
Oh, my poor Marie. What have I done to you? Piron!
Forgive me, Jacques.
Hand to me that phonograph record.
There you are.
Oh, what stupidity. I asked you to get Swinton Johns. What do you give me? Something that sounds like Spike Jones.
Oh, curse me, I am a fool.
Well, get me a glass of water. Oh, I don't want to hear what my lovely Marie says when she wakes up.
Oh, you blackguard. Oh, you deceived me.
There, now drink some more water.
It's full of water as the ocean already. Oh, how could you? But you do not even play the violin.
I could not tell you because of my love for you.
And then you tell me you're an interior decorator.
Well, I decorate interiors with faucets.
Oh, it's not funny. I hate myself for even associating with someone who has no talent whatsoever.
No talent, you say?
Is it not true?
I will show you if it is true. Here, from the cupboard, some paper. Now the charcoal. Now I will draw your likeness.
You're an artist?
A magnificent artist. What do you think I do here in Montpellier? There. The contour of your face. The beautiful oval. Now your hair. Like the whisper of angels. Your eyes. The beauty of deep lakes.
Oh.
Your nose. The majesty of God.
Oh, sure.
And your lips. So soft and lovely. There.
Jacques. Oh, it's brilliant.
Is that a man with no talent whatsoever?
You have the line of Matisse. The composition of Picasso. I can see it. You did draw this, didn't you?
Of course. But you know art.
Yes, Jacques. Art is my first love.
Your first love?
Oh, Jacques, I can see it now. Your drawings on exhibition, the world at your feet.
But I thought I am your first love.
Oh, no.
Oh, but it is all right. So long as I'm always the first you adore. And how could you help but adore me? I am so magnificent.
The curtain falls in the final act of The Magnificent Rogue. Our star, Turhan Bey, will return for a curtain call after this timely message from Wendell Niles.
The young men who have earned their wings in the United States Air Force have found a place in this air-minded world. Those wings and an Air Force future may be yours if you can fulfill a few simple requirements. They are, you must be between 20 and 26 and 1/2 years of age, have had 2 years of college, or be able to pass an equivalent examination. And you must be physically fit. These are the requirements for training as an aviation cadet in the United States Air Force. When you have completed the course successfully, you'll have won your pilot's wings and a commission as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. Outstanding members of each cadet pilot class receive regular commissions immediately upon graduation, while other men have the opportunity to qualify for regular commissions during their tour of active duty. Get your application at your nearest Air Force base or United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station now. Remember, only the best can be aviation cadets. Now, once again at the microphone, our star, Turhan Bey, and our producer.
Turhan, come out and take a bow for a grand performance. But don't bring your violin.
Why, CP, that was a $20,000 Guarnerius. Didn't you like it?
The violin? Yes. The playing? No.
Oh, but I'm inspired to become one day a great artist.
Suppose you stick to a hobby in which you are great. Photography.
Oh, photography, yes. But I want an art in which I can make a great amount of money.
You won't make it in playing the violin, believe me. Have you ever considered motion pictures?
Oh, but that's my business, CP.
And how's business?
Very good. Columbia has just released my latest picture, Song of India. I've become a very modern Maharaja in a very modern India. No violin, of course.
Then we'll all go and see it. And by the way, I understand you made some excellent photographs in India while you were there.
And in Turkey and in Tibet. But my best pictures were made right here in Southern California during the big snow last January.
We got some fine color shots at the ranch with the snow and the orange trees around the house.
They'll make good Christmas cards, CP.
That's what we wanted them for. We even made some pictures of the large snowflakes, just to prove they're as big as silver dollars.
Oh, well, that's California for you. Even the snowflakes had to be the biggest.
You know, it's a good thing we got the pictures when we did. We may never get another chance. I hope.
That's right. It will probably never snow again out here.
Of course not. Well, Turhan, I want to thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed it. And now I think I'll run along and practice my violin. But tell me first who's going to be with you next week.
Next week, Turhan and ladies and gentlemen, we present one of the greatest dramatic portrayals and stories of the season. Zachary Scott joins us to star in a historical play based upon the interesting life story of Henry Wilson and the establishment of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Here is a documentary play of interest to everyone.
That sounds like a very good story. I'll be listening. Goodbye, CP.
Goodbye, Turhan Bey. Be sure to join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, when we bring you Zachary Scott in Above Their Comrades. Until then, thanks for listening, and cheerio from Hollywood.
Turhan Bey appears with the courtesy of the Hollywood Coordinating Committee, which arranges for the appearance of all stars on this program. Script was by Rich Hall with music under the direction of Eddie Scribani. This program is transcribed in Hollywood for release at this time. Wendell Niles speaking.
Exciting New Yorkers, join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old-time radio programs. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.